If you like the story, you can support the author on Patreon. Link is in the description.
Chapter 101, God's Legacy Isn't Cabbage, or is it? Jasmine. Are you kidding me? That's what the petite girl thought at the moment. Oi, did you eat something wrong today? The thing on my hand is the evil god's immortal blood. The source of evil god's legacy. It's the legacy of a creation god from the primordial era of gods. What do you mean by so? Your head. Jasmine's body trembled due to anger and disbelief. She never felt like this in her life. Something about Yulong's lack of interest in evil god's immortal blood that everyone in the realm of gods dying to get irked her. Looking at Yulong's golden eyes, Jasmine could see that the evil god's immortal blood was nothing in his eyes. Tears welled up in Jasmine's eyes. She lowered her head because evil god's immortal blood is her trump card to be at least equal to Yulong. Jasmine felt her dying effort to get this blood and run away from those people was useless now. Yulong noticed Jasmine's fluctuating emotion and sighed because he didn't mean to sound nonchalant, but evil god's immortal blood didn't pique his interest much. Sure, you can get evil god's profound veins that allow one to obtain a berserk attribute for each inner gate opened. Not to mention the immunity over elemental attributes upon swallowing evil god's elemental seed, evil god's legacy is indeed top-notch. However, Yulong doesn't require it to become stronger. With Kaiju Maker, he already forged an ultimate path unique to himself. So, besides some research value, evil god's immortal blood is worthless. Not many people dare to think such a thing, but Yulong is an exception to such rules in the first place. He hugged Jasmine with a helpless expression and patted her head gently. Okay, stop crying. Thanks for showing me the evil god's immortal blood. Jasmine buried her face on Yulong's chest and whispered, I want to give it to you. But you don't look impressed. I put my life on the line to get this, and you would never know how, did you? You didn't even spare a glance at it. Her voice began to sound hoarse. Jasmine maintained a cold and ruthless persona in the upper realm so people didn't view her weakly. However, deep down, she is nothing but a scarred girl with a bunch of trauma. Her mother died. Her brother died. She must stay strong so her only younger sister wouldn't get bullied. For a young Jasmine, the world is too cruel to her. Kang Yu's suffering is more bearable than Jasmine's. Both are horrible, but the scarlet-haired girl in Yulong's embrace needs more attention than ever. They stayed in this position before Jasmine finally calmed down and became sleepy. Yulong, please take the blood. I don't have any bargaining chip beside this item. Okay. Yulong strokes her hair. What do you want in return? Revenge. Shush. Before Jasmine could utter her line, Yulong sealed her lips with his finger. Nope, not that. Yulong smiled at her. What about a lifetime supply of desserts? I don't mind giving you more of it. Jasmine buried her face again. Okay, dessert then. After a few more pattings, Jasmine finally fell asleep as Yulong gently put her on the bed inside Sky Poison Pearl. Have a nice sleep, Jasmine. He said with a smile. Leaving the green dimension, Yulong contacted Zilong, Dragon God, and Yuan, Phoenix God, telling them to meet him in the frozen cloud Asgard fast. Yulong stared at the floating crimson blood above his right hand and mumbled, Evil God's legacy, hey. Your contribution might be small, but it's better than nothing. Yulong teleported with minor teleportation aspect and arrived on the snowy land with some rocks. He sat on the rock and waited, watching two spatial tiers appear before him. Took you two a while to come here. He said with a smile. Haha, old you. I don't think there are people faster than me and Yuan in the blue pole star. Zilong walked out with a grin. He has a piece of good news for Yulong. Yuan also grinned like a fool with a handful of master's stones in her hand, each the size of an adult's head. Master. The Emerald Phoenix skipped a few times and lunged toward Yulong. But then her eyes widened when she sniffed the adult and vital yin aroma from Yulong's body. Master, why you? You graduated already? Yulong's mouth twitched, what do you mean by graduated already? He grabbed her by the face and placed her on the rock beside him. Aeon. Yuan moaned playfully. She even licked Yulong's palm without hesitation. Now that Yuan knew Yulong wasn't afraid of doing the deed, she could become bolder in her approach. Yulong released her and looked at his hand. If Jasmine were still awake, she would be shocked by this sight. There are two living gods under Yulong's order. And they are legendary figures in the realm of gods. However, she would get disgusted by Yuan's perverted nature as well. The image of the majestic phoenix god has already fallen to several levels if not rock bottom. Yuan hummed and leaned on Yulong's shoulder, so, who is the lucky girl? King Yu. Yulong responded with a smile. This perverted phoenix is a mood changer. Oh, lucky girl, lucky girl. Yuan nodded in understanding. Deep inside, she mumbled, how enviable. But it's not too late. Master didn't reject my advance earlier, hee. Zilong cleared his throat and asked, ahem, even though I'm happy knowing you have taken one step further in your relationship with King Yu, I believe we should return to the main topic. Old Yu, you won't contact us unless something serious happens, right? Of course, who do you think I am? Yulong chuckled. He snapped his finger and summoned the evil god's immortal place from his personal spatial storage. Yes, the complex spatial construct that only sovereign profound realm or above could attempt. Remember, attempt, not make. Still, Yulong did it despite being a peak tyrant profound realm. Yuan and Zilong stared blankly at the crimson blood, evil god's immortal blood. Jasmine would be proud of their reaction. Yes, this is the reaction I wanted. Jasmine will probably puff her chest proudly. Well, she's asleep, so she doesn't have a chance. Oi, old Yu. That's not fake, right? Zilong pointed at the crimson blood. Even though I know Nishian has died, he didn't leave his legacy in the blue pole star. Yulong rolled his eyes, it's real. I was lucky. Someone from the upper realm brought it to me. She's quite an emotional girl, not going to lie. Upper realm. Zilong's eyes lit up. Girl. Yuan frowned at the prospect of a new rival. She completely disregarded the upper realm's part. Zilong approached the crimson blood and commented, Nishian's immortal blood, he condensed quite an amount of power there. Unfortunately, when he condensed it, he was tight on time. One of the creation gods fell this low. My friend is pitiful. Aren't you pitiful too? Yulong returned casually. Zilong merely smiled and didn't respond to Yulong's question, as their brotherhood is close enough to know about each other's past. The dragon god rubbed his chin, what are you planning to do with the blood? You couldn't possibly use it for yourself, no. Your current profound veins are clearly better than evil god's profound veins. Modifying it here and there should allow you to obtain Nishian's berserk attribute. I'm planning to condense another profound incarnation with it. Yulong answered calmly. This. Zilong was shocked. He couldn't imagine how strong the profound incarnation would be with the evil god's legacy. He even shivered at the thought of it. You're wasting God's legacy, Master. Even Yuan pointed out Yulong's mindlessness on how to use evil God's legacy. Yet, God's legacy isn't cabbage, or is it? Yulong smiled mysteriously at them. He snapped his finger carefully, and several swirls appeared, spewing bloodline essence one after another. These bloodline essences come from Jasmine's body and her enemy. These are. Zilong and Yuan recognized some of the bloodline essences. Heavenly Star Slaughter God. Sky Governing Fist God. Glory Sun Beast King. Ice Kylan God. There is even a drop of Brahma Monarch God's blood. Master, you're not playing around with these bloodline essences. Yuan knew what Yulong was capable of. As long as he could decipher the profound pattern of something, he could extract the profound aspect and use it for himself. What do you think? Yulong winked at them confidently. Chapter 102, 7 Deadly Sins, and another breakthrough. Snow region of extreme ice, ice formation cliff. Yulong meditated on the ice formation cliff, which stood on the edge of the snow region of extreme ice and faced the open sea. His black hair fluttered by the cold sea breeze, but he stayed without moving an inch. He gazed at the distance, seeing several miles of ocean covered by thick blue ice. Even so, he could feel the boundless sea lingering with force to shake the ice. Profound sea. Calm, deep, and mysterious. 7 Deadly Sins. Yulong's golden eyes twinkled in deep thought. After a while, he closed his eyes and summoned 7 manifestations out of his will. Each has a distinct appearance and aura that causes the universe to tremble slightly. Pride. Said a manifestation with red skin and bulging muscle. He wore nothing but tattered black pants tied with a red belt. A black dragon and sun seemingly swam on his red skin, reaching to his pupilless eyes and sword-shaped mark on his forehead. Envy. Said another manifestation. However, it was a tiger with green fur and black stripes instead of a humanoid. And the envious king character on the forehead, glaring with vicious purple light. Sloth. A whirlwind made of soft-looking feathers appeared and blew the sea breeze away. Although its appearance is vague, the surrounding area gradually becomes calm as a yawn fills it. Wrath. A vengeful roar broke the atmosphere. A massive black sword created from a messy combination of squirming flesh, bones, and teeth manifested. It had a red vein covering its body and crimson eyes on the hilt. Lust. A giggle followed. A voluptuous figure appeared, revealing her delicious peaks and peaches. Her black hair danced and framed her oval face, which had charming pink eyes, a cute little nose, and red lips. She wore a revealing white robe that was seemingly pure, exposing her side boobs and toned yet creamy thighs. Don't be swayed by her initial appearance, as bat-like wings and a long tail with a heart-shaped end gradually appeared on the woman's body. Greed. A purple-furred, quadrupedal beast appeared. It has a dog-like head with 3 eyes and 2 mouths. 7 fin-shaped bones out of its spine, releasing a dim white light. And finally, gluttony. Boom! A massive black shark suddenly appeared and broke apart the thick ice that covered the ocean. Its whole body is filled with nasty red eyes and sharp teeth, seemingly searching for the next prey. Profound incarnations, 7 deadly sins. Yu Long smirked while observing his new creations. If he released them, chaos would ensue in this world. They were born from his will. So, they are, without a doubt, powerful existences. Pride, return to the Lost Heaven sect. Yu Long glanced at his first ever profound incarnation. Pride nodded and disappeared from the snowy land, appearing millions of miles away. Yu Long recalled his profound incarnations back and glanced at the Lust, who gave him a wink. He planned to create an incubus-like profound incarnation but made a voluptuous succubus instead. He sighed, this is the time to make a breakthrough. After a year, Yu Long has comprehended the meaning of tyrant behind the tyrant profound realm. What it means to be a sky profound realm is to fly and grasp the high sky above. Emperor profound realm is to have a will rival the sky and manifest a domain born deep in one's heart. Then, the tyrant profound realm was a way to become a tyrant. To rule one's domain and force anyone inside to submit, whether in heaven or earth. Yu Long laughed as his aura exploded, tearing the snowy sky apart and exposing the bright sunlight. He basked in the morning glory, enjoying its warmth. He successfully entered the first level of the sovereign profound realm. After that, he rapidly broke through the second to the 10th level of sovereign profound realm and reached the peak of mortal cultivation realms. Yu Long inhaled deeply, circulating art of ghost and art of violet mist to the very limit. Ghosts' wails echoed throughout the land, surrounding the area with pure darkness. Violet mists also appeared, swaying back and forth in the sky. Yu Long's nose flared because his level 21 mastery over his profound arts finally leveled up again. He could merge them and bring the manifestation of ghost and violet mist to the real world. Level 22. A smirk appeared as Yu Long curved his lips. He stood up and pinched his finger casually, brushing the air gently. Art of Ghost, Ghost Emperor's Void Slash. Shing. The sound of sharp wind traveled miles away, and the fabric of space sliced before Yu Long's eyes. He could see the depth of the space for a fraction of a second before the fabric space mended back. Yu Long didn't stop and use Art of Violet Mist this time. Art of Violet Mist, Violet Sunset, Genesis. With a simple push of a palm, he sent bright violet light that damaged the space fabric. However, unlike Ghost Emperor's Void Slash, the fabric space is literally burned because of this move. Cold like a wailing ghost, and warm like a morning sunlight. As Yu Long finished his words, a scream came out. Noisy. Why are you so noisy? This princess couldn't sleep because of you. Jasmine jumped out of the Sky Poison Pearl's dimension and gazed at Yu Long fiercely. She placed her delicate hands on the hips and pouted, explain yourself. If you wake up earlier, you might see my 7 deadly sins. Shame. Yu Long thought with a smile. Even then, he raised his hand in defeat and said, I'm guilty. Humph, I forgive you if you have 3 of those cookies. Jasmine harumphed. Yu Long smiled because the cookies Jasmine mentioned were cream-filled cookies made with rare ingredients. Okay, I'll give them to you later. Jasmine nodded and hugged Yu Long's neck from behind. She leaned her head on his shoulder, watching the mess he just created. Her eyes widened. You did this? Wait, since when did you enter peak sovereign profound realm? This is abnormal. Haha, People call me that often. Yu Long merely laughed and executed his movement technique, flashing to the frozen cloud Asgard. They have stayed in the frozen cloud Asgard for 2 months, and it's time to leave. Yu Long arrived at the frozen cloud Asgard and saw the female disciples playing snowball war with each other. Girls! Young master is back! Someone shouted in excitement. After that, countless jade-like beauties came and ran toward Yu Long. They didn't even bother to hide their intention as they smothered him with their youthful and perky bodies. Young master, how are you? Linger stuck on the frozen world arts, why don't you come to my room and teach me? Yes. I don't understand the meaning of warm heart and ice body. Young master, could you teach my body to know more about it? Your warm teaching, I want it inside. Young master. Me first, please. No, me first. Yu Long's mouth twitched a little. Humph, bag, Jasmine commented from the Sky Poison Pearl's dimension. Yu Long shook his head gently and smiled helplessly, sorry, girls. I'm busy with something at the moment. There is a hungry cat I need to feed, or else she is gonna bite me. Hehe, you're funny, young master. Why don't you bite us instead? We don't mind. Someone said playfully. God, these women are bimbo. Humph, we should call this place Frozen Bimbo Asgard from now on. Jasmine roared angrily. Yet she somehow accepted when Yu Long called her a hungry cat. Yu Long heard Jasmine's roar and chuckled, sorry, maybe next time. Ah, what a shame. Countless sighs followed Yu Long into the frozen cloud immortal palace. Yu Long, you should get away from this place ASAP. These bitches are going to throw themselves to your bed at this point. Jasmine warned seriously. Don't worry. We will leave the frozen cloud Asgard tomorrow. Yu Long responded casually. Really? Yet. Yu Long nodded and added, I haven't visited my parents for a couple of months. My mother is going to nag me like no tomorrow. Jasmine had a weird expression as she asked, to think someone like you would be afraid of a mother. Don't you know? Yu Long tilted his head with a smirk. Know what? Jasmine frowned. Angry mother is the scariest thing in the world. Chapter 103, Heavenly Wolf Hell God's Tome, 1. In the sky, 5 people flew above the clouds. 1 blade to slash. 1 blade to thrust. 1 blade to slay everything. Slaughtering gods and demons alike, the essence of your profound arts is the primal slaughter to annihilate everything mercilessly. Heavenly Slaughter Star God is one of primordial existence and not lower than the Dragon God or Brahma God. However, you inherited his strength, not training it from the beginning. Tisk, who are you to teach this princess? Yu Long and Jasmine bantered over the Heavenly Slaughter Star God's legacy because the latter couldn't accept someone from the lower realm who was more familiar with Star God's legacy than herself. Jasmine never shared her legacy with him, so Yu Long's profound knowledge greatly shocked her. Yu Long smiled and commented, I didn't look down on you. I'm just saying your profound knowledge is lacking. You've inherited Heavenly Slaughter Star God's memories, no? But having a memory isn't the same as practicing it yourself. How did you? Jasmine was speechless. Yu Long lifted his finger, and a crimson aura gathered on the tip, causing Jasmine to jump off his shoulder. Jasmine knew better than anyone else that the crimson aura on Yu Long's fingertip was slaughter aura. But how? Unless Yu Long is her long-lost brother or something. Feeling Jasmine's gaze, Yu Long shook his head gently and said, don't overthink it. We are not related in any shape or form. Humph, who wants to be related to you? Jasmine scoffed and swayed her head away. What at Sundara? Yu Long chuckled, just watch this. Since you couldn't use your profound strength or divine sense, I'll only teach you how to become more familiar with your inheritance first. Tapping Jasmine's forehead, Yu Long transferred an aerobic exercise and made the young princess's cheek twitch. What the hell is this? Jasmine glared at Yu Long. She failed to realize how easily Yu Long broke through her mental defense. Yu Long shrugged and answered, it's a modified aerobic exercise to bond divine blood perfectly with yourself. You can try it in the Sky Poison Pearl if you are too embarrassed to do it here. He's tricking her. On the side, Kang Yu, and Chu Yueli stared at Jasmine with a funny expression. Meanwhile, Chu Yueshan stared at Yu Long and Jasmine calmly. However, there is a hint of jealousy in her eyes when Yu Long hands secret exercise to the ghost-like young lady. Am I too low to catch his attention? Chu Yueshan thought to herself. Chu Yueshan doesn't feel that good after becoming Yu Long's maid. Her position is similar to her sister, Chu Yueli, but the difference in treatment is like mud and sky. Well, Chu Yueshan could only suck it up. She was no one in Yu Long's eyes in the first place. Her title as the most beautiful woman in the Blue Wind Empire is empty compared to Chu Yueli, Xia Qingyu, and Kang Yu, who have refined their appearance through intense training. Chu Yueshan could accept Xia Qingyu and Kang Yu because they are younger, but her younger sister seemingly has gone through rebirth into a completely new person. Chu Yueli is still Chu Yueli, but she's not the younger sister Chu Yueshan knew. I should calm my heart. My profound way is a long path. Chu Yueshan closed her eyes and meditated using frozen world art. Meanwhile, Jasmine suspiciously stared at Yu Long and harumphed as she entered the Sky Poison Pearls dimension. She tried aerobic exercise and discovered Heavenly Slaughter Star God's legacy in herself became looser. Impossible. How could a simple exercise could loosen up God's legacy? Yu Long smirked on the outside because the modified aerobic exercise is not as simple as everyone thinks. It's a profound art model that forces one's body, soul, and spirit to the limit. Not everyone could do it. Nay. Jasmine suddenly squealed like a cat as she dropped onto the bed with a bead of sweat on her face. She felt her entire soul was like a wet towel being squished dry. Only one round, hey. Yu Long rubbed his chin. Jasmine's condition is worse than he thought. Still, knowing Jasmine's background, her connection with Heavenly Slaughter Star God must have a reason. **bag, you tricked me. Jasmine grumbled as she buried her head tiredly on the pillow. Well, I expected this much from you. When you can do at least 12 rounds of aerobic exercise, I'll teach you something new. Yu Long's playful face makes Jasmine even more irritated. Humph, **bag. Jasmine closed her eyes, feeling happy inside because Yu Long helped her. With this exercise, she might become even stronger than before. Yu Long. Before this princess sleeps, I have a question. Go ahead. Yu Long answered as he hovered in the sky. Do you use any weapon? That's an interesting question. Just answer the damn question, damn it. Yu Long sighed, I'm proficient with all kinds of weapons. It's something I always possessed on the back of my head. In his previous life, one of the women he was close with was a demoness of martial arts who seared all kinds of knowledge into his bones and blood. Although his memory is somewhat blurry, he could still wield all weapons. It's just that he preferred to use his fist and leg. Even now, he still thinks the same because old habits die hard. As Kaiju Maker, Yu Long didn't fancy weapons because his greatest power was an absolute force he could create and bring out. Even his past life thought the same. So, you can wield a heavy sword. Jasmine's voice brimmed with excitement. Well, yet. Yu Long awkwardly responded. He knew where Jasmine was going with this conversation, but he didn't expect her to hold regard for himself to this level. After all, asking whether he could use a heavy sword or not is related to Jasmine's big brother. Her big brother is also the inheritor of one of the 12 star gods. Heavenly Wolf Star God. Here, take this. This princess believes you can learn this technique without much of a problem. You're a monster, after all. Jasmine said as she sent the incomplete Heavenly Wolf Hell God's tome to Yu Long's head. I'll take that as a compliment, I guess. Yu Long put on a helpless expression. Humph, this princess wants to sleep now. Don't disturb me. Jasmine finally closed her eyes fully and entered a slumber. Yu Long furrowed his brow because this profound art's name was too mouthful. He silently comprehended the technique and sighed because Jasmine's understanding was good. Unfortunately, this profound art is incomplete. It seems I have to do something with this. Yu Long mumbled, picking some profound arts from art series he had developed. If Jasmine knew what Yu Long was doing with her big brother's Heavenly Wold Hell God's tome, she would probably throw a tantrum due to the shock she received. Young master, there are people ahead. Chu Yueli said with a frown. Oh. Yu Long opened his eyes lazily and used his profound sense, feeling 3 sovereign profound experts not far away. Who might you be, senior? Yu Long approached and greeted one of them. He was playing the fool. The person hovering before Yu Long is a middle-aged man in a green robe. He has an unkempt black hair, oval face, and sharp green eyes. He also has a black sword on his waist, which makes Yu Long guess his identity quickly. Lost Heaven Master's disciple, come with us to the mighty Heavenly Sword region. The middle-aged man said. Yu Long narrowed his eyes and asked, is that supposed to be an invitation? That sounds like a threat to me. Sharp energy pointed at Yu Long's eyebrows and threatened him even further. The Sword Monarch wants to talk with you. You have no choice but to comply. The middle-aged man released a bit of killing intent to make Yu Long afraid. Yu Long rubbed his chin carefully. That's weird. On what basis make you brave enough to force me like this? He thought about it hard and realized that his profound incarnation pride had left the Lost Heaven sect for a month because he wanted to upgrade it again. These people probably thought the Lost Heaven Master was gone for an important matter and wanted to kidnap me. Yu Long was amused. He looked at the middle-aged man and said, "You want to come with you, right? Why don't you come here and fight me? If you're strong enough, I might come and see what your Sword Monarch has in mind." "Brat, you're courting death!" the middle-aged man coldly shouted. Yu Long shrugged and said confidently, "If death is a peerless beauty, I don't mind courting her. I have no interest in a smelly fossil like old man like you, though." Chapter 104, Heavenly Wolf Hell God's Tome, 2. The middle-aged sovereign from the mighty Heavenly Sword region snorted indifferently. He didn't draw his sword and flicked a strand of his profound energy to teach Yu Long a lesson. Well, he was bound to be disappointed. The strand of profound energy reached unimaginable speed but bounced and broke on Yu Long's chest like pasta against a firm wall. The middle-aged sovereign and his two partners couldn't help but question their eyes. Isn't the attack too weak? Chu Yueshan's expression was pale when seeing Yu Long get attacked by a monarch-level expert, but when the profound energy shattered into pieces, she thought otherwise. She solemnly looked at Yu Long's broad and muscular back. "No, it's not that the attack is weak. Young master is just too strong." Yu Long brushed his winter coat and said, "What was that? A fly?" Senior. Can you answer my question first? How did you know I was in the snow region of extreme ice?" The middle-aged sovereign furrowed his brow and didn't bother to answer Yu Long's question. Sovereign's palm. He waved his hand this time, creating a manifestation of a massive palm in the sky descending to Yu Long. Yu Long sighed and glanced at the massive palm uninterestedly. How crude. After becoming a monarch, Yu Long knows the benefits of entering the sovereign profound realm. Upon touching this realm, one could grasp or specifically glimpse into the law of space. However, Yu Long has long broken the rules and learned the law of space with Kaiju Maker, making the spacewalker Kaiju, UDA. The incoming massive palm was conjured using profound strength and strengthened with the law of space, albeit a little. Both didn't mix well because the one who executed it was poor in law of space and mastery over his profound art. Yu Long didn't even have to use his ability to feel how messy the profound patterns in this attack were. Disappointment is an extreme understatement. No wonder the lower realm is the lower realm. There is no beauty in these kinds of techniques. Boom. Young master. Chu Yueshan worriedly called. Chu Yueli glanced at her older sister and said, "Don't worry. Young master will be fine." "Yeah, that's barely enough to tickle him." Xia Qingyu shortly added with a nod. "His profound arts mastery is a little too terrifying." "A little too terrifying indeed." Kang Yu covered her mouth and giggled. Chu Yueli smiled, "Just watch, sister. Young master is about to start his lecture." Chu Yueshan's face froze because weren't they too nonchalant? She wanted to say something but ultimately shut her mouth and watched what would happen soon. The clouds dispersed and revealed Yu Long, who was unscathed and looked no different than before. Yu Long stared at the middle-aged sovereign playfully. "I have been training for too long. It's time for a real battle." After saying that, Yu Long's aura suddenly exploded and reached the peak of Tyrant Profound Realm. Even then, it was still a frightening sight as boundless energy swept over the area. And it's not even his peak performance as he is still holding back. The middle-aged sovereign frowned. "Peak of the Tyrant Profound Realm. Ha, as expected from the disciple of the Lost Heaven Master. With this, we could confirm your teacher is also a monarch. But is he also as strong as our sword monarch?" Yu Long smirked and said, "Come here and try." "Humph. I don't even need to draw my sword to cripple you." The middle-aged sovereign scoffed. Such bold words for a dying person. Yu Long used frozen world arts and released the first technique. A freezing wave escaped and burst out, catching the middle-aged sovereign off guard. Boom. The middle-aged sovereign coughed blood and looked at Yu Long in disbelief. "So, it's true, the Lost Heaven sect and the Frozen Cloud Asgard have a deep connection. If not, how could you wield the ice element to this frightening level?" His left hand is covered with frost, trembling due to the extreme chill. You overthink it. I'm simply on holiday when visiting the frozen cloud Asgard. I'm too handsome, and they can't handle me. Yu Long shrugged helplessly. Hearing Yu Long's shameless reply, the middle-aged sovereign and his partner's mouths twitched. I think Yu Long deserves a beating sometimes. Kang Yu suddenly said. Yes, that's true. He has become so naughty recently. Xia King Yu's eyes glimmered. Chu Yueli didn't say anything, but the glint in her ice blue eyes clearly agreed with the two young ladies' words. Wait, what? Whose side are you on? Chu Yueshan was speechless. Yu Long stretched his hand and grasped the freezing air, gathering the frost he had unleashed a second ago into an object. Everyone squinted their eyes as a beautiful sword came into their vision. It was a great sword with an icy blue main body and silver edges. There are golden wings as its handguards and 5 silver lines between them, which connect to the center. The handle is dark blue with a gold crown-like ornament at the end. How beautiful! Chu Yueshan mumbled unconsciously. The great sword gave off a noble aura that made her heart beat nervously. The middle-aged sovereign felt something was off from the great sword in Yu Long's hand as he could feel a monarch-level shine from it. Of course, Yu Long made this sword with extreme ice and a manifestation aspect after all. The sword's name is Song of Broken Pines. When the pine tone echoes, the season enters winter and freezes the forest. The sounds of rebellion. Senior, draw your sword. Yu Long gazed at the middle-aged sovereign. Or else, you won't have a chance to survive. The middle-aged sovereign grasped the black sword on his waist and pulled it out, revealing a pure white blade. You're asking for it, brat. He said grimly. I will cut your limbs and give them to the Lost Heaven Master as an opening gift. Swoosh. Clank. The middle-aged sovereign abruptly moved and quickly slashed toward Yu Long's left shoulder. Yu Long raised his great sword and parried the slash away. Boom. Immense sharp energy is directed to the ground, decimating a formation of rocks below into a flat ground. The clouds dispersed as they faced each other with swords in hand. He deflected that. Impossible. The middle-aged sovereign's expression darkened. He blinked and saw Yu Long disappearing instantly. Xian Yuanbing, behind you. Someone shouted. Well, it was too late. Yu Long appeared behind Xian Yuanbing and casually waved the great sword, severing the latter's head from its body. Blood sprayed in the sky, freezing the atmosphere. Yu Long turned around with a smile. Oh, so there are 2 more seniors. The 2 sovereign experts appeared and glared at Yu Long fiercely. How dare you launch a sneak attack against my mighty heavenly sword region's elder? One of them shouted at Yu Long. Yu Long flipped his finger at them and returned. You made a move on a junior like me and were angry when I gave him a free cut. Who's more shameless? Shameless fossils. Die. One of the sovereigns couldn't handle it anymore and shot a sword energy at Yu Long. Yu Long entered a stance and swung his sword domineeringly, causing the air to tremble violently. Heavenly Wolf God Series, First Sword, Heavenly. There is no profound energy behind Yu Long's attack. It's unfiltered raw strength that caused the air cannon to get blasted. Yu Long's attack met the sword's energy and shattered it into pieces with sheer force. Boom. No way. Before he could finish his words, the sovereign's body turned into a red mist. Yu Long looked at the red mist and wondered if he was making this new profound art too strong. Heavenly Wolf Hell God's Tome that Jasmine only has one move, Heavenly Wolf Slash. He separated Heavenly Wolf Slash into 3 parts, Heavenly, Wolf, and Slash, to grasp the essence and combine them with the heavy sword mastery he had. That was 33,000 tons of force. Well, you're next, senior. Yu Long glanced at the last sovereign. The last sovereign trembled because he didn't expect Yu Long to be this monstrous. In the record, Yu Long was only at the peak of the Earth Profound Realm 3 years ago. How could someone grow this ridiculously in 3 years? From Earth Profound Realm to a realm where he could slay someone at Sovereign Profound Realm, the jump of strength is terrifying. The last sovereign cowered and cried, Please spare my life. I have wives and kids at home. Tisk, tisk, wives? And kids? Yu Long shook his head. Then, you should cherish your life more. Yes, yes. The last sovereign kneeled in the air with a wicked glint in his eyes. At the very last moment, he gathered something in his sleeve and launched it at Yu Long. Haha, die. Yu Long watched the incoming dagger with a knowing look. This kind of fossil in the cultivation world is always cunning. Clank. The dagger bounced off Yu Long's greatsword. The last sovereign felt his face numb. After all, that dagger is thoroughly enhanced with his monarch-level profound energy. Even a peak sovereign profound realm won't act this casually before the deadly dagger. I know you'd do that. Yu Long winked at the last sovereign. Heavenly Wolf God Series, Second Sword, Wolf. Auuu. A massive white-blue wolf materialized in the sky and charged at the last sovereign, opening its sharp fangs and turning the monarch-level expert into nothingness. Boom! The sky was literally opened. Yu Long hovered in the sky with a smile on his handsome face and a beautiful great sword in his hand. Every woman in the area, especially Chu Yu-chan, couldn't help but marvel at this sight. How powerful! Chu Yueshan gazed at Yu Long and felt her heart throbbing even more. Her eyes glimmered with fascination, and her red lips unknowingly mellowed into a hopeful smile. Chapter 105, Tied a Knot. Yu Long weighed the great sword in his hand and decided to keep this one permanently because it was heavy and easy to swing. It's only 15 or 16,000 tons of condensed ice and energy. He shrugged and planned to add a reinforced array on the sword later. I was playing around with the manifestation aspect, but Song of Broken Pines turned out to be a decent greatsword, claymore. Could be heavier, though. Only you would say that, husband. Xia Qingyu comes to his side with a weird expression. I could tell that the sword is heavy. I bet only a few people could wield it in the Lost Heaven sect. Including you. Yu Long flashed a playful smirk. Xia Qingyu rolled her eyes. I preferred a more aesthetic-looking weapon. How dare you? Song of Broken Pines is aesthetic. Yu Long jokingly waved the great sword, causing the air to tremble. Xia Qingyu's mouth twitched. Well, you're right. It looks pleasant to see, but no. I don't want to use a great sword. Hehe, make a long sword for me, please. Kang Yu joined the conversation, hugging Xia Qingyu from behind. Well, if you're talking about a long sword. I always have it. Yu Long shamelessly said. Yu Long, so naughty. Kang Yu blushed because his reply caught her off guard. Fine, I'd like to see your fine long sword later. Okay, stop teasing each other. Xia Qingyu sighed, rubbing her temple. Chu Yueli and Chu Yueshan come closer, but they don't say anything except to see the destruction Yu Long has done. If many people knew that the young master killed 3 monarchs alone, his name would be even more famous. Chu Yueshan thought. She glanced at the residual aura of Yu Long's heavy sword technique and mumbled, but he doesn't seem the kind of person who would like fame. Chu Yueshan turned around and saw Yu Long smiling at her. Wanna learn? He asked playfully. Yes. Chu Yueshan answered immediately. Yu Long nodded and returned. After we return to the Lost Heaven sect, I will teach you some tricks. Before that, take care of this sword. The Song of Broken Pines hovered in the air and landed on Chu Yueshan's hand, making her eyes widen in shock because of how heavy it was. She felt like her arms were about to break any second. This is your chance, sister. Chu Yueli's voice suddenly entered Chu Yueshan's mind. Young master left behind his ice intent and manifestation aspect in that sword. If you could comprehend at least 1/10, you'd be able to catch his attention. You might become his battle maid. The alluring voice added. Are you sure? Chu Yueshan gulped nervously. Yes, trust me. Chu Yueli smiled brightly, hiding her cunning fox-like scheme. Thank you, young master. Please leave this sword to me. Chu Yueshan firmly said, despite holding the Song of Broken Pines with great difficulty due to its weight. Yu Long chuckled and transferred art of body refining to Chu Yueshan's head. We will see that in the next month. Chen. Feeling a deep knowledge penetrating her skull, Chu Yueshan moaned somewhat sensually and lowered her misty eyes. Her body trembled because art of body refining was too much for her. She lowered her body to a 90-degree angle and said yet again another thank you. Chu Yueshan doesn't know how to repay young master. I'll try my best not to let down your expectations. Cough. Cough. Yu Long looked away. Good. You did it on purpose, didn't you? Xia Qingyu and Kang Yu gazed at Yu Long suspiciously. I don't. Yu Long deflected skillfully. Who knows, my thought transmission will cause her to moan. Yeah, sure. Xia Qingyu cast a glance at Chu Yueshan. What kind of man doesn't want to make this ice fairy moan like that? Even though Chu Yueshan couldn't compare against Xia Qingyu, she's still a famous and Blue Wind Empire's #1 beauty. Many people admired her, but she still became Yu Long's maid. Kang Yu doesn't know if her husband is charming or excessively lucky to snare women. She peeked at Kang Yu and sent a sound transmission, "You should confirm your position, Sister Sweruo. There are too many women eyeing our Yu Long." "I know, you don't have to warn me. I have planned to seal the deal already." Kang Yu curved her lips. The two young ladies smiled at each other, sending a shiver down to Yu Long's spine. "What are you two planning?" He sighed helplessly. Speeding up to the Lost Heaven sect, Yu Long also absorbed the essence sphere he got from the three sovereigns. He grasped their memories and some useless skills, watching everything like a replayed video. Yu Long flew with his eyes closed and mumbled, "I see. So, it's like that. Jealousy is a hell out of ambition. What a shame. I thought the resources of the four great sacred grounds would be much deeper than this. Tea making, F, acquired. Plant maintaining, F, acquired. Calligraphy, F, acquired." Yu Long heard 3 clicks in the back of his head, which confirmed that the essence spheres were fully digested. He rubbed his palm and released black smoke, which is the impurities of the essence sphere. His body doesn't need something like this, but 7 deadly sins, gluttony sure did. A red jaw of sharp teeth appeared and chomped the black smoke, fading into existence after eating its fill. "This fellow sure is eating everything, hey? Even Wabi isn't this hungry." Yu Long thought to himself. A radiating heat like a warm morning sun approached from afar, and Hong Guan came into everyone's vision. They also could see Lily following from behind with a wide grin. "Young master, you're finally back," Lily excitedly said while waving her hand at Yu Long. Yu Long chuckled, "Hee hee, I'm back. Did you miss me?" "Yes, I miss my salary," Lily responded immediately. "Yu Long." "Everyone." Yu Long's eyebrow twitched as he flashed and knocked Lily's forehead with his finger. "I wanted to give you an extra cut because I quite miss your presence, but foo *k it. I'll cut your salary instead. What about 70% for this month?" His smile becomes evil in Lily's eyes. Lily's expression paled as she hugged Yu Long's leg like a wronged wife and wept, "Oh wah. Please don't cut my salary, young master. I'm wrong. Lily is wrong. I miss you, I really miss you very much. I can't live without you, your money, ... Get the hell away from me." Yu Long pushed Lily away, creating an ice prison for her. "No. My salary." Lily slammed her hand on the ice floor dramatically. Hong Guan was amused and hovered toward Yu Long, giving him a firm hug. "I miss you, young master." Her voluptuous body pressed against Yu Long, making the latter instinctively shudder. "Every night, I can't sleep unless I think about you," she whispered to his ears before pulling back into a lovely smile. Yu Long stared at her bright green eyes and smiled back, "I see. It seems we are the same. Young master also." Hong Guan gasped in surprise. Yu Long shook his head gently, "I'm not that dense, but I always think of you sometimes." "Sometimes? That's more than enough." Hong Guan sighed in relief as she had a dear spot in Yu Long's heart. Even if it's just a little, she was more than happy. Never mind. Let's go to the Lost Heaven sect first." Yu Long wanted to say something more but decided to save it for later. He has noticed Hong Guan's feelings since 3 years ago and decided to improve himself first rather than pursuing romance. However, now that Yu Long has become an adult and graduated with the help of Kang Yu, he felt a little romance wouldn't be bad for his second life. "Okay, mistress is currently teaching a young lady to speak." Hong Guan nodded and escorted them inside. The red-haired lady noticed an extra person in the group and glanced at Chu Yueshan with a brief examining gaze. Another one," she said while turning her back. "What do you mean by another one?" Chu Yueshan felt weird. Entering the space folding array in the sky, they entered the Lost Heaven sect and saw Uxin sitting under a great willow tree. "Say mama." "Wah wah." Yu Mei waved her little hands. No, mama. Mama." Uxin put on a solemn look. Yu Mei tilted her head and sucked her finger cluelessly, seeing Yu Long walk toward her. Her bright, big eyes lit up. "Baba. Baba." Yu Mei waved her hand at Yu Long. Yu Long laughed, "Ha ha ha. Do you miss me, Yu Mei?" Right, this is your big brother. Baba." Yu Mei laughed as well. Uxin stared at Yu Long and pouted, "You're grounded for a week." Yu Long was speechless. He patted his forehead and put on an act. I was about to give you good news. Well, since I got grounded, I can't help but stay quiet. Spit it. Uxin narrowed her eyes. Yu Long opened his arm and pulled Xia Yu, we have tied a knot. The ceremony. Before Yu Long could finish his words, Uxin was already bawling her eyes out and hugged him. Heek, my boy is finally taking the step. I want 3 grandchildren. Uxin sharply demanded. T3. Xia Yu blushed, but she also expected this. Yu Long. A wise man once said women are unreasonable sometimes, especially mothers. Chapter 106, Eternal Night Prince's Duty. You got ambushed. Su Sanshin blinked in disbelief. He stared at his grandson and couldn't help but think, what kind of idiot would ambush this monstrous young man? Like, even he didn't dare to ambush him out of nowhere. Yu Long smiled, right. Su Sanshin rubbed his beard and mumbled, there aren't many idiots in the profound sky continent who would do something like this. So, I guess it was one of the sacred grounds. Mighty Heavenly Sword region. He glanced at Yu Long. Yu Long nodded and responded, spot on, old man. Su Sanshin's eyes wickedly as he laughed, ha ha ha, as expected of those idiots. Especially that fool Xian Yuan Wenshan. He was the reason behind our Eternal Night royal family's extermination 1,000 years ago. Your great-grandfather and I fought him 50 years ago, but our strength was lacking. Xian Yuan Wenshan is indeed the type of person who's too cunning and evil. After seeing the rise of Lost Heaven sect over the years, he couldn't wait anymore and attack you. If I remember correctly, your avatar disappeared a month ago, so he probably used the chance to kidnap you. Yu Long stared at his grandfather in surprise because he'd never thought he could put the pieces together this quickly. Su Sanshin noticed Yu Long's weird gaze and waved his hand. Do you think your grandpa is all muscle and no brain? You aren't. Yu Long blurted honestly. I thought grandma is the one with the brightest mind in the family, well, if I was out of the count. Su Sanshin choked on air, you brat. Although I'm hot-headed sometimes, I'm still a royal. Do you think our Eternal Night royal family didn't teach its inheritor to have a sharp mind and judgment? This is why I want to bring you to the ancestral land. You didn't know many things about our Eternal Night royal family. He sighed helplessly. I'm not motivated or interested. Yu Long answered flatly. After receiving some bones from the ancestral land, he has enough memory to know about the Eternal Night royal family's history. They deceived the devil and protected the world from it. The Eternal Night King planned to ensure the royal family's survival and keep dark influence from touching the land. Su Sanshin leaned on the pillar and commented, I bet you don't know you have one more fiancé. Cough. Yu Long was caught off guard and choked on his drink. Wait, what? Since when did I have another fiancé? You guys never told me about this. Su Sanshin covered his face with one hand and returned, of course, you don't. You're not following your ancestors' teaching or doing your duty as the prince. Don't you forget the prince of each generation has to strengthen the bloodline of the Eternal Night royal family? Your grandmother used to be the Azura Grand Kingdom's 9th princess before the Divine Phoenix sect took over and changed the kingdom into the Divine Phoenix Empire. She was part of the rebellion force, and I saved her on the journey to temper myself. Yu Long. What the foo asterisk K? Yu Long heard of this when his grandparents told him their origins, but Su Sanshin or Su Nanan never mentioned this random fiancé. Also, why didn't he know his grandmother was the 9th princess of the Azura Grand Kingdom? And you two married a few weeks later? Yu Long asked in disbelief. Su Sanshin chuckled at Yu Long, yet. What's the matter? We were already adults back then. The grandfather and grandson sat inside a pavilion, staring at each other blankly. Not far away, the ladies are having a conversation of their own. Come here, King Yu. Hug grandma. Su Nanan opened her arms for the first granddaughter-in-law. After hearing that Yu Long and Xia Yu have tied the knot, Su Nanan's happiness broke out because of the prospect of great-grandchildren coming into vision. Xia Yu hugged Su Nanan and was pampered like no tomorrow, causing her to blush. So, when is the wedding? Su Nanan asked straightforwardly. Xia Yu squirmed on the chair and said, about that. After talking with Sister Suero, Hongguan, Lily, and Chu Yueli, we decided to hold off on the wedding for now. Yet, I was shocked when they proposed the idea. Yu Long probably didn't know about this. Uxin gave the 5 ladies infatuated with her son a weary smile. 4 of you haven't gotten your turn yet, right? The 4 ladies blushed when Uxin said that. Su Nanan's eyes lit up, I see. Now that Xiner talks about it, I see where you get this coming from. It's understandable. One big wedding will save a ton of money. Lily suddenly uttered while lowering her reddened face. Ha ha ha. They looked at Lily and laughed joyfully at her words. She's a little confused, but she's got the spirit. How adorable of you, Lily. Hongguan rubbed the tears of joy from her eyes. Very adorably indeed. Kang Yu giggled, hugging Lily from behind. Chu Yueli shook her head gently and said, young master doesn't lack money in any shape or form. He's the richest person in the profound sky continent. Humph, what do you know about money? Lily put on a strong look because saving money is her motto. Uxin grabbed Lily's hand and rubbed it gently, don't worry about the cost for now. I've watched you grow alongside you long. Your origin doesn't matter, Lily. You're part of the family for the longest time. This. Mistress. Lily's heart warmed up. Uxin smiled and returned, you should call me mother or mother-in-law from now on. You too, Guan, Yueli. Understood. Hongguan answered aloofly. Meanwhile, Chu Yueli has a complicated expression because Uxin is several years younger than her. Even then, she still resigned and accepted Uxin's words to heart. Right, age is just a number. Our feelings are all that matters. Chu Yueli thought to herself and smiled. Of course, her way of thinking works only in this world where people could live thousands, if not millions, of years. By the way, who is this lass? Su Nanan asked while looking at Chu Yueshan, who stood awkwardly on the side. Chu Yueli patted her chest and introduced, Ahem, grandmother, she's my older sister, Chu Yueshan. Hoh, Chu Yueshan. Su Nanan squinted her eyes. Nice eyes, body, and those hips. You're suitable to bear children. I don't think that's appropriate, madam. I'm but a lowly servant of young master Yu Long. Chu Yueshan calmly answered. Su Nanan laughed and stared at Chu Yueshan's eyes, you said that, but I can see clearly in your eyes there is a small spark. Also, don't say you're a lily. You're looking down on Hongguan, Lily, and Chu Yueli. They might have been a maid once, but now they are my granddaughter-in-laws. Su Nanan glanced at the pavilion and saw Yu Long, my grandson is not like others. He's too good for his own good. Although I still have a long lifespan, I'd like to see capable women on his side so he wouldn't be lonely on the path he took. Xiner also thought the same. Yes, my genius son needs to slow down and enjoy more of his youth. Uxin nodded in agreement. Chu Yueshan doesn't know how to answer. Uxin put on a mysterious look, you can think about it first. Chu Yueshan wanted to say something in retaliation but ended up nodding her head. If Yu Long knew his grandmother and mother were such capable wing women, he would be speechless. Mighty Heavenly Sword Region. An elder hurriedly flew to the Sword Master's mansion and reported about the death of 3 sovereigns. Sword Master. Something bad, something horribly bad has happened. Xuan Yuan Wenshan sat on the grand-looking throne with eyes closed as he meditated. However, upon hearing the panic in the elder's voice, he opened his eyes slowly. What's the matter? He asked with a low huff. The elder kneeled and responded, the soul lamps of Xuan Yuan Bing, Xuan Yuan Jing, and Xuan Yuan Gong were abruptly destroyed a while ago. Xuan Yuan Wenshan's eyes widened, that's impossible. Those 3 are at the 4th level of the sovereign profound realm. They are not the strongest monarch-level experts in our holy land, but they aren't that weak. The elder gritted his teeth and pulled 3 broken lamps on the floor, seeing the light have died out and the lamp itself cracked to oblivion. Xuan Yuan Wenshan tapped his throne's armrest indifferently as if the death of his subordinates wasn't that significant. He clicked his tongue, it seems the lost heaven master still has a trick in his sleeve to protect his disciple. What's the progress of replicating the greater heart-linking pills? But the deaths? The elder couldn't help but ask again. Xuan Yuan Wenshan's expression darkened, don't make me repeat myself. The elder lowered his head fearfully and answered, we barely reached 30% efficiency. The effect of our greater heart-linking pill is inferior compared to the ones Lost Heaven sect made. This is no good. Xuan Yuan Wenshan crushed the armrest. Lost Heaven sect. Sooner or later, your secret will be mine. No one could stop my dream to become profound god, not even the other sacred grounds and continent. Chapter 107, A Date with Kang Yu. The next day, Kang Yu awakened from her pleasant dream and opened her eyes, seeing sunlight coming from the ventilation. Yu Long. She yawned and looked for Yu Long but found her nowhere. They are still in the Lost Heaven sect, which means Yu Long should be on the burning sun peak where the sunlight and yang, light, energy are the most abundant. She glanced down, seeing Xiaoqing Yu and others sleeping. A playful smirk appeared on Kang Yu's face as she quietly climbed off the bed and changed her pajama into a green-white dress with an open back. Let's see. She placed a coat over her shoulder and flew off. Arriving at the burning sun peak, Kang Yu saw Yu Long meditating like usual and slowly refining the yang, light, energy in the surroundings into his body. A purple aura is radiating from his skin. You're already awake this morning? How rare! Yu Long opened his mouth while focusing on cultivating art of violet mist. Kang Yu puffed her cheeks. Are you calling me lazy? I can wake up early, you know? Humph. Yu Long chuckled, I don't doubt your words. Still, my routine is always the same every morning, absorbing the purple chi from the morning sunlight. When I return, you're usually still asleep, Sweruo. Come here and sit. Kang Yu's expression mellowed as she sat beside Yu Long and stared at the distance, feeling the warmth of morning sunlight. Even though she cultivated the yang, light, element with monarch heart secret art, she focused more on life attribute than the light itself. She could manipulate light expertly, but her destruction prowess was several times lower than Yu Long's. She is also more inclined to read the luck in the atmosphere with her profound arts. Today is a great day. Kang Yu commented as she saw several golden threads swimming in the sky. Is that so? Yu Long kept refining purple chi in the atmosphere. I wonder what kind of great things will happen. Kang Yu blinked a few times as she giggled, it's something I've been waiting for a whole month. A whole month? Yu Long opened his eyes and peeked at Kang Yu, seeing her skin glow with gleaming light. You want it today? Well, yes. But let's go on a date first. Kang Yu nodded calmly. Don't worry. We had a lottery session last night, and I won. Are you sure you weren't cheating? Yu Long suspiciously gazed at her clear eyes. Kang Yu stuck her tongue out playfully and said, hee hee, take a guess. Yu Long sighed helplessly, wait for a second. I'll leave a note to Mom so she doesn't have to prepare breakfast for us. About that, you don't have to. I already left behind a note. Kang Yu winked. Fast, right? Yu Long blinked and quickly realized Kang Yu had used her clairvoyance a few times. You're coming here prepared, hey? He said with a wry smile. Of course. Kang Yu raised her chest proudly, giving Yu Long a sight of her cleavage. Since she was 2 years older than Yu Long and Xiaoqing Yu, her body was obviously more developed. Yu Long raised his hand in defeat and eloquently said, well, shall I escort the princess to this rare date? You may, my handsome guardian. Kang Yu played along before both of them laughed. Ha ha ha. Yu Long and Kang Yu walked inside the Chain Clouds mountain range, the lush forests in the west region. One might think this was Yu Long's idea, but Kang Yu was the one who proposed a date in the forest filled with profound beasts. Talking about being unique, haha. Even then, Yu Long guessed the forest had something that caught Kang Yu's monarch heart secret art detection. So, something is interesting in this forest? Yu Long asked, beating around the bush. Kang Yu giggled and answered casually, something like that. But you don't want to ruin the trick, do you? Or it wouldn't be interesting anymore. She hummed and kept walking into the forest, sometimes picking wild herbs on the ground. Yu Long stared at Kang Yu's back and rear respectfully, sighing because this fiancé was surely well endowed. Even with such covering clothes, she is somehow able to charm him. If Xiaoqing Yu has this charming appearance and adorable personality that warms Yu Long's heart when she tries to tempt him, Kang Yu is like a pure elder sister who seduced him to unveil her beauty. Maybe it has something to do with her being 2 years older. Sweruo is not innocent by any means, considering she talked with Yu in most of the time, but her saint heart does make me take a second guess sometimes. Yu Long thought at the back of his head. As they walked deep in the forest, Kang Yu stopped and stared at a mighty tree before her. The tree is over 100 meters tall, with thick, brown bark, countless branches, and lush green leaves. It should be around here. Kang Yu said, hovering her eyes around the tree. Profound beast. Yu Long frowned at the tree, sensing its immense vitality and sleeping sentient. A tyrant profound beast at that. Kang Yu crouched on the ground and grabbed an ordinary-looking stone, throwing it at the tree. There. The tree suddenly moved and opened a cracked mouth filled with green blood. Who dare to awaken this king? An angry roar echoed all over the forest. Kang Yu giggled and crossed her arms. It's me. Hello, Mr. Tree. I heard you're about to break through to the sovereign realm and condense a sovereign core. Can you give it to me? She asked nicely with a warm smile. The tree manifested a pair of hollow eyes and stared at Kang Yu furiously. Who do you think you are? So, no. Kang Yu sighed, pouting a little. Die. Several roots burst from the ground and launched themselves at Kang Yu swiftly, leaving shadows. Need help? Yu Long asked casually, as he knew none of these roots posed any danger to Kang Yu. Kang Yu waved her hand, indicating it was okay. She tapped the storage ring on her finger and summoned a white staff that was seemingly made of pure silver with a detailed groove to show the image of a purple-eyed white snake. Dancing Snake. That's the name of Kang Yu's staff. Yu Long made it 2 years ago in solitary training with the artificial bones of an ancient snake beast and the nugget of the star, Meru, to code it. It was a 3-section staff as Kang Yu pulled both ends, revealing chains that connected the middle part to others. She swirled the staff and jumped, showing how delicate her movement was. However, Yu Long knew her strength was not so delicate. Boom! Kang Yu blew the massive roots apart like rotten wood with a single smack of Dancing Snake. Her toned muscles twitched as she danced like a war goddess. Roar! A painful roar echoed. Yu Long face-palmed and mumbled, and she asked for a long sword yesterday. Her fighting style is not suitable for something that mild. Wait, she probably asked for a heavier weapon. In fact, besides cultivating monarch heart secret art, Kang Yu also used art of body refining to increase her physical strength to the extreme. Don't look down on her delicate-looking body as her muscles, blood, bones, and spine are tempered with Dragon God's blood over the 3 years in the Dragon God trial ground. Most importantly, she trained pink muscle tissues, which makes her look feminine and not excessively muscular. It also makes her physical strength catch up to Yu Long's base. Boom! 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 Kang Yu destroyed the roots one after another, charging at the massive tree with a cold look. Light, yang, energy gathered on the dancing snake, releasing a gleaming purple aura. Monarch heart secret art, concentrated light. Kang Yu's arm muscles flexed as she smacked the tree with half her strength. Crack! Boom! She blew off a chunk of the tree, causing the profound beast to wail in pain. Roar! Stop! 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 Kang Yu ignored the tree's plea and blew another chunk, making the tree look miserable. After a while, Kang Yu stopped and stared at the massive tree with countless trees. The core, now. She stretched her hand. A green light condensed and landed on Kang Yu's right hand, revealing a green-colored crystal with 4 leaves inside. A smile bloomed on Kang Yu's face as she finally left the poor tree alone. Monster, monster! The tree whispered to itself. The profound beast would experience a PTSD about a silver stick and a woman now. Kang Yu returned to Yu Long's side and showed him the green-colored crystal. Hehe, do you know what this is? No. Yu Long answered helplessly. Kang Yu grinned, this core is called 4 Leaves of Love. It signifies eternal love between lovers. Here, place it on your chest. Why? Just do it. Yu Long picked up the fist-sized crystal and placed it on his chest, watching Kang Yu cut her palm and drip the blood on it shortly after. What are you doing? Yu Long grabbed her hand. Kang Yu looked at Yu Long's worried expression and giggled, trust me, I don't hurt myself for no reason. Yu Long stared at her with a frown and let free the hand, allowing Kang Yu to place her hand on his chest. The 4 leaves in the crystal lit up, releasing a blinding pink light. All of a sudden, Yu Long could feel another heartbeat. It was Kang Yu's heart, which was beating like no tomorrow right now. Swearuo, you. With this, we are connected forever. Kang Yu breathed in, feeling Yu Long's heartbeat. Do you feel mine, Yu Long? My feelings. Yu Long rubbed her cheeks gently. Why are you so foolish? You don't have to do something like this to declare your love to me. I also love you. Haha, but this makes it more special. Kang Yu winked at him victoriously. After that, she hugged him tightly. Yu Long hugged her back, giving the girl a helpless sigh. Swearuo, you're such a bad girl. He lifted her chin and kissed her lips. Am I? You two are inhumans. Leave this place and do it somewhere else. The tree on the side screamed inwardly. Kang Yu breathed heavily because Yu Long finally freed her lips and said, that was much different than I thought. There is much more you don't know about. Yu Long pinched her nose lovingly. Well, princess. Do you want to accept this humble, handsome man as your husband? Hee, yes. Kang Yu excitedly went for another kiss. Meanwhile, a beaten tree is crying for being single. Chapter 108, Kang Yu's surprising side, Lemon's side story. After the confession, Kang Yu pulled Yu Long for another kiss. She was famished by the new experience, feeling his tongue dance with hers. Their lips smacked against each other, creating these sopping wet noises. On. Haha. Haha. Kang Yu breathed heavily, feeling Yu Long's hands cup her bountiful ass. She looked at his handsome face and mumbled, I don't know that you're an ass lover. Yu Long laughed, you never ask. Kang Yu leaned on his chest and asked, well, what do you think of mine compared to King Yu's? Yours are much bigger. Yu Long answered truthfully. If Xia King Yu has a bubble butt, then Kang Yu has this toned big ass that makes him want to sink his hand in them. Of course, Yu Long didn't judge them. He loved his woman's features, which were their unique points. Beauty is subjective. What's the matter is that Yu Long appreciated them. Yu Long kissed Kang Yu's forehead and said, let's change places. There is no way I can take your virginity in the forest. Hee, lead the way, my dear husband. Kang Yu giggled in amusement, hugging Yu Long's neck. Yu Long brought Kang Yu to the sect master's room quickly and kicked the bedroom door open. He saw the king-sized bed and smirked because he never slept there. Since he was always busy with experiments, Yu Long only took 1 or 2 short naps. Yu Long controlled the array and checked the room's condition. Let me play with that. Kang Yu snatched the array control and changed the bedroom's atmosphere as red light illuminated the room. She licked her lips and stood up, bringing her lips to Yu Long's lips again. Yu Long kissed her more intimately this time, feeling her soft hand on his abs and chest muscles. And there. Kang Yu playfully pushed Yu Long to the bed, making him sit. Swearuo, you. Yu Long was speechless. He saw her on her knees and tied her hair into a ponytail. Where did you learn this? Kang Yu smiled and answered honestly, my mother. She taught a few tricks on how to be a good wife. She grabbed Yu Long's pants and unbuckled the belt, freeing a beast that sprang out. It slapped her right cheek and radiated with warmth. So big, did King Yu fit this in her? Kang Yu's eyes widened. The toy her mother demonstrated was not this big. Even then, Kang Yu was still determined and opened her rosy lips to lick the throbbing member. Her little tongue licked the base of Yu Long's base as she planted a few kisses here and there. She breathed in and prepared herself, opening her mouth to take this monstrous dragon. Kang Yu licked the tip of Yu Long's D*K and slowly adjusted herself to envelop the whole thing. She took 6 inches successfully, bringing her head down gradually. Yu Long hissed in pleasure because Kang Yu's throat felt incredible. It was warm and tight. Glug. Glug. As Kang Yu moved her head up and down, she gagged once a while but stayed firm to give her lover a blowjob. Do you like that, baby? Do you like me sucking your big, glorious cock? Mwah. She kissed Yu Long's member, giving it several strokes with her soft hand. Yu Long grunted, yeah. It feels amazing. Kang Yu smiled and continued sucking Yu Long's D*K, pampering it with care. Yu Long grabbed Kang Yu's head and pushed her down, causing her eyes to widen as a burst of C*M came down her throat. Glug. Glug. Ah, sorry. He said, releasing her head. Kang Yu coughed a few times and pouted, that was uncalled for. I'm sorry. Yu Long gave her a weak smile, feeling guilty. Humph, at least we don't waste your yummy juice. Although it would be bitter, it's surprisingly salty and warm. Kang Yu rubbed her stomach, feeling her cultivation loosen slightly. She smiled and added, well, I'm not mad. So, you like to dominate the bed, hey? Yu Long ruffled his hair and responded, I was moving by instinct. You do have quite a dominance, especially with this. Kang Yu rubbed her face dearly with Yu Long's glistening member. Gosh, I'm all wet down here. Yu Long, foo*k me. I'm so horny. Kang Yu stood up and pulled off her clothes one after another, throwing them to the ground. Yu Long could see her body in full glory, noticing her nether region was wet from the excitement she had enticed for several minutes. He grabbed Kang Yu's waist and slowly brought her hips to his lap. He licked her nape and made her moan. MMM. She closed her eyes. Yu Long squished her breast with his left hand and fingered her puss * with his right hand. The wetness of her nether region surprised him a bit. Whoa, so wet. Yu Long was like a curious child. After all, this was his second *X. He fingered Kang Yu and sucked on her beautiful breast. Baby. Yu Long, you're a baby. You like to suck my breast so much. She giggled at him. It's nice. Yu Long responded straightforwardly. It is. Kang Yu enjoyed her lover's touch. Yu Long has an idea to surprise Kang Yu a little. Weak bioelectricity traveled to his fingertips as he pressed against her inner wall. A loud moan escaped Kang Yu's mouth as her whole body spasmed in delight. She gasped in disbelief as the sensation ran through her body. It felt like all her nerves were suddenly stimulated, increasing the pleasure receptor by a leap. She even orgasmed, albeit in surprise. Her puss * juicy drenched Yu Long's lap and caused her to blush. Bad Yu Long, what did you do just now? Yu Long smirked and told Kang Yu about how he used bioelectricity to make her C*M. Even though he had perfect control, he only dared to do this because Kang Yu possessed a strong body and muscle tissues. Do it again. Kang Yu's eyes lit up. Fu * me with your big stick, and do the trick. I want to feel it. Are you sure? Yu Long blinked at her excited reaction. He unknowingly opened a Pandora's box for his harem. Using bioelectricity is a game changer. 100%. She humped his thigh. Yu Long smiled and gently lifted her, positioning her wet entrance above his erect manhood. Here we go. Kang Yu felt her entrance stretched as a warm stick slowly reached the womb's entrance. Ye share. She feverishly screamed. At first, Kang Yu felt a little pain, but immense pleasure immediately washed it off. AHHN. AAHN. AAHN. Kang Yu moaned every time she bounced on Yu Long's lap. Her bouncy ass rippled, sending pleasure to Yu Long as well. Yu Long sucked a cold breath because Kang Yu's puss * was clamping around his cock, massaging him tightly. If not for his self-control, he could have C*M already. Kang Yu has a foolish grin on her face. Her tongue is lolling around in the air. Pa. 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 The sound of flesh smacking echoes in the bed chamber. Yu Long sucked Kang Yu's breast and kneaded the other, enjoying the soft heaven for himself. A few minutes later, beads of sweat covered their bodies. Kang Yu's breathing is heavier. You're so good. Why are you so good? You should have Fu * ked me earlier, Yu Long. Kang Yu bit her lips, MMM. Yu Long, you're breaking me apart. Swearuo, I'm about to see *M. Yu Long kissed her. Kang Yu moaned, me too. C *MMMING. Kang Yu felt a burst in her puss *, and Yu Long completely flooded her womb with his semen. She threw her head back, feeling her whole body spasmed like an electrocuted animal in heat. Ah, this is heaven. She thought and fainted. Yu Long calmed his breath and caught Kang Yu, laying her on the bed. Steam is coming from their bodies, considering the intensity of their Fu *King. After a while, Kang Yu finally awakened and felt the pleasure still lingering on her puss *. She couldn't help but groan and rub her bloated belly. You're pumping me full with your baby batter. Don't tell me you want to breed me. She asked Yu Long, who had a wry smile on his face. Yu Long pecked her forehead. I don't know you have this kind of side. Women have their secrets, you know. Kang Yu laughed and rolled on the bed. The soreness doesn't bother her. Should we continue? She added, licking her lips hungrily. Yu Long laughed and said, Princess? You're more of a demoness now. Demoness? I like it. Cultivators have nearly endless stamina. However, even with endless stamina, Kang Yu can't balance the mental fatigue of continuous pleasure attacking your mind. After hours and hours of intense Fu *King, Kang Yu finally gave up and fainted for real. She had a satisfied smile as she tried many positions with Yu Long. Yu Long leaned on the bed frame and caressed Kang Yu, who slept on his lap. Her hand is still holding his D*K like it was a priceless treasure. Phew. That was much more intense than the first one. He looked down at Kang Yu's sleeping face and mumbled, "You're beautiful, Sweruo. I'm such a lucky guy to have you as a wife. Even then, it seems we should use bioelectricity more wisely in the future." Yu Long stared into the distance, seeing the moonlight entering the gap in the window. They have *ked each other from morning to night. Well, good night. Yu Long brought Kang Yu to snuggle near his chest and kissed her cheek, closing his eyes to a beautiful dream. Chapter 109, A New Day, A New Problem. Yu Long woke up with Kang Yu in his embrace. He chuckled softly and pecked her forehead, warming the sleeping princess even more. He watched her beautiful face for a while before giving her nose a little poke. Kang Yu's eyelashes fluttered as she opened her eyes, revealing clear blue eyes. "Morning, dear," she said while rubbing her head against his chest. "Ah, that was adorable." Yu Long kissed her again. Kang Yu let him kiss her some more for a couple of minutes. She wanted to roll her leg but discovered the soreness on her lower body was unbearable. She felt her nether region get pounded to oblivion, literally. Kang Yu heard King Yu overly bragging for a month about how she survived Yu Long's monstrous fellow, but experiencing it was completely different. "I thought I had a strong body. Clearly, not strong enough." Kang Yu pouted because she would be limping for a whole day. She huffed, "You're too good in bed. King Yu and I wouldn't be able to handle you." Yu Long raised his brows and returned, "If you want to, I can hold back a little. What's good about S*X when my wife gets injured because of it?" "No. You're such a dummy." Kang Yu sighed at Yu Long's words. "If a wife couldn't satisfy her husband, then I and King Yu would be a failure. We have pride as women, you know?" "Humph. Also, it's not that bad." Kang Yu blushed sheepishly. Last night was not something I expected." "Really?" Yu Long asked with a teasing tone. Of course, there is a hint of satisfaction in his question. Kang Yu beat Yu Long's chest softly with her delicate hand and mumbled, "Yes. It was amazing. Ha ha ha. Let's take a bath together." After taking a long and comfortable bath, Yu Long and Kang Yu exited the sect master's room and went to the soaring dragon peak, where Yu Long's family and women live. As soon as they arrived, Su Sanshan, who was punching a rock to train his fist technique, whistled and teased, well, looks what we have here. A pair of lovebirds. Good job, Yu Long. You're doing a good job as the prince. My eternal night royal family is going to reach its peak again. Buahahaha. He gave Yu Long a thumbs up. Yu Long rolled his eyes at this grandpa, just ignore him. Kang Yu wanted to ignore Su Sanshan, but feeling accepted by Su Sanshan as a granddaughter-in-law made her proud. She blushed and hugged Yu Long's arm, giving Su Sanshan a leave it to me expression. Su Sanshan grinned and stroked his beard wisely, thinking how great it would be in the future because the eternal night royal family finally bloomed thanks to Yu Long. Now I have to contact the Divine Phoenix Empire's ancestor. I hope he still remembers the promise, or there will be a bloodbath between the two royal families. Su Sanshan focused on the rock behind him, giving it a casual flick to destroy it into dust. Yu Long didn't see Su Sanshan's indifference after he left. He entered the courtyard and was immediately interviewed by his mother and grandmother. Well, they are being chatty like usual. After that, they dragged Kang Yu away and left him in the hallway with a bitter expression. I can't win against them. Yu Long sensed someone prying from the corner. Morning, King Yu. King Yu stepped out and crossed her arms. Morning, Yu Long. Yu Long raised his brow because King Yu didn't call him husband in this situation. No, she's probably mad, as he left for a whole day without informing her and others. Although Kang Yu left a letter, she never expected Yu Long to be this monstrous to spend a whole day in bed. Yu Long shook his head gently and hugged King Yu, consoling her with pats and kisses. After 5 minutes, King Yu finally melted and leaned on his chest like a satisfied bunny. Have you eaten, husband? King Yu asked sweetly. No. Yu Long answered with a small smile. That won't do. Let's go to the dining room, and I'll make some dishes for you. Is that okay? Okay. I've never eaten your food for a while now. Hehe, you will be surprised. Yu Long sat before a dining table, watching King Yu in an apron cooking several dishes. He let out a sigh and decided to check on Jasmine. It was rare for that girl to be this quiet. It's also quite awkward to talk with her right now. Yu Long thought to himself because around a month ago, Jasmine condemned him like he was a pervert. Then, again, it was his fault for not cutting the connection with Sky Poison Pearl's dimension. It is the second time Yu Long forgot to do it. Jasmine, are you there? In the end, Yu Long decided to call the Tsundere princess's name. I'm not here. A soft voice comes out. I am sleeping. The voice sounds nervous and frustrated for some reason. Then, who replied to me, young lady? Yu Long wanted to check the Sky Poison Pearl, but Jasmine quickly shouted. Don't come in, idiot. Okay, geez. Yu Long's eyes widened as he laughed and decided not to annoy her even more. Jasmine buried herself in a blanket. Her face is flushed with redness as steaming sweats cover her petite body. It's not because Jasmine did the modified aerobic exercise. Jasmine is sweating because her inner curiosity is surprisingly aroused when two beasts are mating. Upon seeing the sight more than twice, the innocent girl unknowingly stepped into a forbidden territory for a girl her age. If Yu Long saw my current state, I couldn't face him anymore. Jasmine bit her lower lips. She didn't know what this feeling was in her chest. Yu Long left Jasmine alone and ate with Kang Yu. She fed him her specialty, ranging from soup to stir-fry of vegetables and meats. Kang Yu insisted on feeding Yu Long, allowing him to taste her love-filled cooking. After that, they cuddled on the sofa in the living room. There was no modern entertainment in this world, so Yu Long and Kang Yu humored themselves by talking about recent topics. Oh, by the way. Kang Yu recalled something. Have you met Yuanba? Yu Long narrowed his eyes as he gradually recalled Kang Yu's younger brother. No. How is he doing? The last time I met him was in the floating cloud city. Kang Yu smiled and answered, he entered the Lost Heaven sect a while ago. And thanks to your early training, his talents blossomed even faster. I bet he's a big boy now. Yu Long laughed, thinking how muscular Xia Yuanba could become thanks to his tyrannical emperor divine veins. He's a big boy. Kang Yu nodded in agreement. Although you're taller, I believe Xia Yuanba is over 2 meters now. He looks like a towering black steel from afar. Thankfully, he's still the kind younger brother I remembered when I visited Floating Cloud City. Let's visit him. Yu Long stretched a little. I want to see how strong he has become after more than 4 years. Yu Long and Kang Yu went to the Tempering Earth Peak, where core disciples trained, and discovered a tall, muscular man sparring against 3 people. That's Yuanba. Kang Yu pointed at the muscular man. Yu Long's eyes widened because Xia Yuanba had grown into a burly man with a somewhat baby face. Xia Yuanba's muscles are denser than Kang Yu, who practiced the art of body refining, possessing more raw power and physical force. That same goes for his skin, blood, and bones. But what's this weird energy impulse in his body? Yu Long activated Kaiju Maker and Insect King's vision. Wait, don't tell me his tyrannical Emperor Divine Veins is mutating. This is interesting. You knew about this already, right? Kang Yu covered her mouth and giggled, I'm not as well versed as you, husband. Still, I could tell something was off with Yuanba when testing his cultivation. His cultivation base might be low, but his body exceeds that of tyrant-grade artifacts. If he wanted to, he could have blown Tyrant Profound Realm experts into a pulp with a punch. Unfortunately. She sighed while looking at her younger brother in the training field. He has a problem. Yu Long finished her words. He scanned Xia Yuanba's body and discovered a fatal defect in his profound veins. Chapter 110, Demonification Wave? Yo, Yuanba! Yu Long shouted while sitting on the stone handrails. You've become bigger than I remembered. Xia Yuanba's eyes widened as he remembered this voice very well. Although the voice became much more mature after over 4 years, Xia Yuanba still shivered because the owner of this voice had trained him in the past. Well, training is a looser term when used in the past. It was more of a bonding between brothers. Xia Yuanba breathed in and defeated his training partners before running toward Yu Long. His eyes lit up when he saw a tall but lean young man with mid-length black hair tied in a bun. Those fierce golden eyes are still the same as ever. Xia Yuanba thought with a grin. Yu Long jumped from the handrails and landed on the field, watching the muscular giant charge at him. Any normal individual would be dazed at such a sight, but Yu Long didn't think much of it. Big bro, I miss you. Xia Yuanba gave Yu Long a bear hug, which tore his shirt apart. Yu Long patted Xia Yuanba's back helplessly, what kind of food did you eat? You're growing this big in just 5 years. Xia Yuanba released Yulong and scratched his cheek innocently, I don't know. But my father said he fed me 100 pounds of profound beast's meat every day after big sister left. At first, I thought it was beef, hee. Yulong stared at him in disbelief. The profound beast's meat is nutritious for profound practitioners, but no way in hell ordinary youth could devour 100 pounds of it every *king day. On top of that, even if profound practitioners could eat that much meat, they wouldn't be able to absorb the energy. They are either dying from overconsumption or ruining their future as profound practitioners, as the energy will rupture their bodies. Only Xia Yuanba, who possessed the tyrannical emperor divine veins, could quickly refine 100 pounds of profound beast's meat. And he'd consume even more as he became more powerful. Well, here comes the defect. Yulong frowned because Xia Yuanba suddenly grasped his heart and coughed a mouthful of blood. Kyug, again. Xia Yuanba's face paled as his body felt like a wet towel squished dry. Yulong coughed and instructed, don't use your profound strength for the next 5 days. Your profound veins are unique, Yuanba. I warned you years ago, but it seems the uniqueness becomes venom. Your profound veins are twice as thick as others. It's 3 times as thick now. That means your body needs to squish more vitality and profound energy to maintain it. You grew this muscular thanks to your body protecting yourself from danger. But no matter how much coating you add to a fragile glass, it's still fragile inside. He added, giving Xia Yuanba a lecture. Xia Qingyu landed on the ground and asked, what should we do then, husband? We can't let Yuanba like this, right? Her voice is full of worry. Husband. Xia Yuanba's eyes widened again. Be big bro, you and big sister are married already. Yulong smiled and nodded, technically, yes. As for the wedding ceremony, we decided to hold it off for now. Well, that aside. Focus on your problem first, you fool. He. Big bro is going to be my brother-in-law. Xia Yuanba laughed like the fool he was and hugged Yulong again, ignoring the pain he had experienced just a few seconds ago. Yulong and Xia Qingyu glanced at each other, chuckling helplessly. Who would have thought this youth would care more about their wedding than his health? Yulong ordered the shadow agents, disciples, to leave and brought Xia Yuanba to a calmer place. Xia Qingyu followed from behind, watching both with an amused expression. They arrived at the artificial lake with energy purifying arrays and settled below a great pine tree, feeling the refreshing breeze hitting them. Yulong checked the array formation around the lake's area and modified some codes because the following experiment would probably break a few things. Xia Yuanba giddily sat down on the grass, staring at Yulong and Xia Qingyu with a foolish grin. Not gonna lie, you two are a match made in heaven. Is that so? Yulong responded while reinforcing the array. Meanwhile, Xia Qingyu giggled because she liked her younger brother's praise of her and Yulong. She didn't know Xia Yuanba had such a glib tongue, but again, it's probably just his childish nature. Xia Qingyu, who was standing, patted Xia Yuanba's head gently and said, okay, stop with flowery words. I'm bringing your brother-in-law here to help you. You can be excited after that. Girl, you said that but cited me as his brother-in-law. Yulong was speechless. Who is the excited one here? Yulong shook his head and finished the array reinforcement. The atmosphere changed because the quality of profound strength increased by a leap. Even Xia Yuanba, who wasn't very sensitive toward profound strength, noticed the changes. Whoa! What did you do, brother-in-law? He asked curiously. Yulong waved his hand, stop calling me that. Big bro is enough. Okay. Xia Yuanba nodded rapidly. Yulong sat down and grabbed Xia Yuanba's hand, feeling his pulse and profound veins. The tyrannical emperor divine veins mutated. How weird. There is this strand of energy that feels familiar. It was deep inside Yuanba's heart. How could I not sense it earlier? Did someone say tyrannical emperor divine veins? A surprised shout comes from Yulong's hand. Jasmine jumped from the sky poison pearl's dimension and appeared in her gothic lowly dress. It was a frilly dress with white middle parts, purple sleeves, and a long skirt, enhancing the scarlet-haired princess's beauty even more. She even twirled in the air to give them a showcase. Yulong gifted her this dress in the frozen cloud Asgards when shadow agents from Silver Lake City arrived with a new batch of stylish clothes. Well, she only wore it now for some reason. Ghost. Xia Yuanba pointed his finger at Jasmine. He was afraid and even hugged Yu Long like a scared cat. It was a funny sight, considering Xia Yuanba is bigger than Yu Long. How rude! Jasmine shouted back. This princess is no ghost. Remember well, this princess's name is Jasmine. Yu Long's mouth twitched. You heard her, Yuanba. Her name is Jasmine, and her weakness is dessert. People call her the devourer of sweets. What? That's not true. Jasmine wanted to deny Yu Long's horrendous labeling. Limited blueberry glazed donut. Kang Yu suddenly commented, which made Jasmine's mouth shut itself. Aye. Jasmine couldn't believe this. This perverted couple actually blackmailed her with limited time dessert, her only weakness. She clenched her fist indignantly and murmured, I have no comment. Xia Yuanba was surprised. What should I call you then? Princess Jasmine. Princess. Jas. Before Xia Yuanba could finish his words, Jasmine opened her mouth again and said, Stop. Princess is enough. Only some people are worthy enough to utter this princess's name. Yu Long rolled his eyes, how narcissistic. Pot calling the kettle black. Jasmine countered immediately. Yu Long shrugged and commented, so what's the matter? I called you earlier, but you cut me off. Jasmine's expression stiffened as a blush crept onto her cheeks, that's not your business. Kang Yu raised her brow at Jasmine's reaction but decided to watch things unfold naturally. Her eyes observed Jasmine's soul, finding some interesting results. A vengeful soul of hers has healed and become purer. But it developed into something a little depraved because of us. Kang Yu smiled inwardly. Kang Yu knew that Jasmine hadn't admitted the feeling yet, but the young soul had gotten tainted. It all started because of me. There is a hint of bitterness in her last statement. Anyway, you possess the tyrannical emperor divine veins. However, it seems you have yet to awaken it, and this leads to your true potential of being suppressed greatly. Jasmine stared at Xia Yuanba. I've listened to Yu Long's rambling and might know why your profound veins mutated. It's actually not your fault. Have you heard of demonification? She glanced at Yu Long. Yu Long rubbed his chin, unfortunately, no. Jasmine nodded in understanding, as expected, the demonification wave hasn't fully reached this low star realm. Around 16 years ago, an energy wave hit the upper realm of gods, and caused momentary chaos because many people suddenly became sick. It was a traceless and new disease with no signs until one entered the first phase. After a year, part of one's body also mutated into that of a strange-looking beast. If you're strong enough, then you can negate this mutation by using profound energy, but if not, 2 years and 30% of your body transformed. 3 years and 50% of your body will become grotesquely shaped. 4 years, you will mutate thoroughly, losing yourself in limbo. Some people gained immense power, and some were unfortunately devoured by madness. Jasmine stared at Xia Yuanba again and said, You're lucky. The demonification hasn't reached a critical stage. Meanwhile, Yu Long felt like he was inwardly struck by lightning. Demonification? 16 years ago? He rubbed his temple and thought solemnly, don't tell me. Pandora, she's still alive? No wonder Xia Yuanba's profound veins have this weird familiar feeling. Yu Long sighed and asked, you said there is a way to negate this demonification, right? Normally, yes, Jasmine answered positively. But this fellow's case is different. His cultivation is too low to expel the demonification's energy himself. Can't we just aid him? Kang Yu entered the conversation. No, we can't do that. Or else you'll get infected as well. Jasmine crossed her arms. The only way is to use demonic core, a sphere-shaped object with varied size and color that appears alongside the energy wave and could absorb the demonification's energy. Yu Long pulled the essence sphere from his spatial ring and said, is it this thing? You have one. Jasmine was surprised. She didn't know about Yu Long's Kaiju Maker abilities, and he also never showed the essence sphere in her presence. Let me try something. Seeing that Jasmine wasn't unfamiliar with the item in his hand, Yu Long grabbed Xia Yuanba's shoulder and removed a strand of harmful energy, moving it into the empty essence sphere in his hand. The essence sphere lit up, releasing a chaotic purple light. Far in the unknown realm in primal chaos, a pair of amethyst-colored eyes opened. Chapter 111, Modifying Profound Veins. What? How did you do that? Jasmine was shocked. Even though using demonic core to cure demonification isn't rare, she has never seen someone doing this way. On top of that, Yu Long is very fast. He has removed the invisible energy from Xia Yuanba's body like it was nothing and transferred it to an empty demonic core. Even I couldn't do something like this. Jasmine stared at Yu Long suspiciously. Of course, Yu Long has prepared an answer for Jasmine. He shrugged and answered, I have some demonic cores, though we call it star egg here. Do demonic cores allow someone to obtain a strange-looking monster's power? Yes, some allowed one to transform, and some just a brief increase of power. It was random, but we determined there are 3 types of demonic cores. Jasmine nodded, giving Yu Long a weird look. Mortal, King, and Emperor grade. People in the upper realm thought the demonification wave and demonic core had something to do with ancient gods' legacy, but it was a fleeting rumor that no one could confirm. Ancient gods' legacy, hey? I see. Yu Long mused with Jasmine's words. He couldn't tell her that demonification waves and demonic core, essence sphere, presumably originated from him. He confirmed demonic core, essence sphere, existence a while ago, but demonification wave was probably caused by his past life's kaiju, as was whether she lived or not, he doesn't know. Pathogenesis and genetic sovereign. These abilities are the source of the demonification wave. While pathogenesis's effectiveness in this world is questionable, genetic sovereign was an extremely cheap copy of Kaiju Maker. Yu Long rubbed his chin and thought slowly, now that I consider some variables, Pandora shouldn't be alive. Her core probably leaked, causing the demonification wave. The sight when I pried into the voids. Those beating stars are probably Kaiju's core that got swept into this world due to the apocalyptic cosmic storm. Jasmine landed on the ground and pouted, you haven't answered this princess's question earlier. How did you negate demonification that quickly? Haha, that would be a little trick of mine, Jasmine. Yu Long smiled and ruffled Jasmine's scarlet hair. Don't mess this princess's hair. Grey. Yu Long glanced at Xia Yuanba and asked, how is it? Do you feel better? I already noticed that your profound veins stopped swelling and overtaxing your potential. Xia Yuanba stood up and clenched his hands slightly, feeling his muscles flex more comfortably now. All good. He said with a surprised grin. Crack. Ah. Xia Yuanba yelped as his profound energy sublimed, allowing him to enter the first stage of the Earth Profound Realm. This is a breakthrough. Congratulations. Xia Qingyu clapped her hands. Jasmine narrowed her eyes and commented, don't be too happy yet. His tyrannical emperor profound veins have yet to awaken completely. I don't know if this was a blessing or curse because his personality doesn't fit tyrannical emperor profound veins. After all, the possessor of these profound veins must have a tyrannical heart to grow explosively. If he kept progressing without changing his mindset on this world, this fellow wouldn't tap his full potential. Are you willing to be a tyrant to protect your loved ones? Xia Yuanba's face contorted because Jasmine's words struck his sore spot. If possible, Xia Yuanba doesn't want to fight and live peacefully in the floating cloud city, but the world doesn't allow him. There are countless dangers in this god-forsaken world, and Xia Yuanba knew he couldn't remain naive his whole life. Yuanba, this father of yours is only an ordinary merchant. I might have a river of money but with no power whatsoever. Everything is futile. Xia Hongai's parting words months ago lingered in Xia Yuanba's mind. I've lost your mother. Your older sister has a fiancé she could depend on already, but you. I'm worried about you the most now. You're a kind child. Still, I wish you picked martial arts or even become a profound practitioner to protect yourself from danger. Xia Yuanba opened his mouth and closed it again. Okay, stop overwhelming him with heavy responsibility. Yu Long patted his forehead helplessly. I discovered 2 ways to help Yuanba reach his buried potential. You do, big bro. Xia Yuanba's eyes lit up. Tisk, he is gonna brag again. Jasmine snorted and looked away. Yu Long nodded and lifted 2 fingers. The first method is to cultivate art of tyrant that I have prepared beforehand based on your profound veins. As for the second method, I'd like to modify your profound veins, but there is a big chance you are losing your original one. Modifying profound veins. Jasmine blinked in disbelief. Is that even possible? Xia Qingyu giggled, if husband says so, then it's most likely true. He would never lie about something like this. Also, don't you give him evil god's immortal blood? That blood allows someone to recreate their profound veins, no. Jasmine rolled her eyes, that's that, this is this. There is no way you just compared evil god with this scoundrel. One is a creation god, and the other is a young adult. Ha, would you like to see me make a miracle? Yu Long flashed a challenging grin at Jasmine. If I win, I'll have you wear that outfit. That outfit. Jasmine shivered instinctively. Yes, that outfit. Yu Long nodded in confirmation. Jasmine was speechless as a blush appeared on her fair cheeks again. Why, you pervert? Fine, if I win, you must tell me how you removed demonification's force from this fellow's body. Yu Long winked at Kang Yu, and the latter smiled in understanding. Jasmine, come here. Kang Yu patted her lap. Humph, this princess will allow you to become my seat for a brief moment. Jasmine hopped and sat on Kang Yu's lap. Unknown to her, Kang Yu silently created an array and slowly merged it into Jasmine's soul energy body. Yu Long told Xia Yuanba to sit down, allowing him to place his hand on the muscular youth's back. He closed his eyes and activated Kaiju Maker, causing Jasmine to raise her brows. What is this presence? Did Yu Long do something? Jasmine gazed at Yu Long deeply, trying to pry into his secret. Yu Long cracked Xia Yuanba's tyrannical emperor divine veins, altering its profound patterns and aspects. Beads of sweat appeared on Yu Long's forehead because this was the first time he had attempted something like this. He has altered countless blood with a secret legacy, but doing it on a living person is hard. It's like walking on a thin glass. 5 minutes passed, and Xia Yuanba's expression contorted into that of severe pain. Clench your teeth, Yuanba. Yu Long warned him. Xia Yuanba nodded solemnly and felt his whole body ripped apart from the inside. Blood is coming from his eyes, ears, and nose. Boom! Xia Yuanba's aura soared, breaking through the earth profound realm to the sky profound realm. It doesn't stop there and explodes 2 more times. Emperor profound realm. Tyrant profound realm. Jasmine's jaw dropped. The presence of tyrannical emperor divine veins has vanished from Xia Yuanba's body. On the contrary, Xia Yuanba released this warm and kind aura instead. What have you done? Yu Long wiped his sweat and said, like I said earlier. I modified his profound veins. And it's a great success. Whoa! Xia Yuanba wiped the blood from his face and beamed because every part of his body felt relaxed as if he had become one with this massive warm star. Jasmine frowned and grabbed Xia Yuanba's hand, feeling up his profound veins. Her scarlet eyes widened because these veins were modified to become the opposite of the tyrannical emperor divine veins. It seems you have noticed it. Yu Long chuckled. The profound veins Xia Yuanba has now should be called benevolent ruler divine veins. So, as long as Yuanba stayed kind and gracious like now, his power would soar rapidly. Husband, you achieved great things again. Kang Yu happily hugged Yu Long. She was happy for Yu Long and Xia Yuanba. Haha, this is nothing. Yu Long laughed like it was a simple thing to do. Jasmine's mouth twitched because this perverted scoundrel became more and more absurd as time passed. To modify profound veins? Even the strongest experts in the divine realm won't dare to think of such a thing. Yet Yu Long succeeded, and it was a great one at that. His ability rivaled that of a creation god. Jasmine bit her lips. Yu Long, just who are you? And what's your secret to possessing this frightening ability? Chapter 112, The Blue Wind Ranking Tournament's Invitation. Hong Guan jumped from peak to peak, using her superior sense and intuition to sense Yu Long's presence. She reached the peak of the Sovereign Profound Realm a year ago but decided to suppress it to the first level to malate more profound energy. She is considered one of the strongest people in the Lost Heaven sect and second in command in the Shadow Realm. She arrived at the Tempering Earth Peak and saw Yu Long sparring with a muscular youth whom she recognized as Kang Yu's younger brother. The muscular youth is somewhat famous in the Lost Heaven sect due to his towering, burly body like a steel block and personality that of an adorable puppy. The disciples called him Gentle Giant if I wasn't wrong. Hong Guan thought as he landed on the peak. She looked around and saw Kang Yu and a scarlet-haired girl standing under a great pine tree. According to Chu Yueli, this girl was fortunately saved by her young master. Hong Guan tilted her head and recalled some information. Her name was Jasmine, but she introduced herself as a princess whenever people unknown to her got closer. What an interesting gimmick. If Jasmine knew what Hong Guan was thinking, she would complain because her princess status is no gimmick. Jasmine glanced to the right and noticed Hong Guan staring at her intently. At first, Jasmine was shocked because she never expected to find yet another beauty here. She rarely goes outside and socializes with others besides Yulong, Xia Kang Yu, and occasionally Chu Yueli. Jasmine parted her mouth and mumbled solemnly, this blood-boiling presence. A dragon. Xia Kang followed Jasmine's gaze and smiled, morning, Senior Guan. Or should I call you Sister Guan from now on? Hong Guan shook her head gently, although the former is fine, you may call me sister anytime. Then, I'll call you Sister Guan from now on. Xia Kang winked cheerfully. Jasmine glanced back and forth between the two ladies, you two know each other. Xia Kang covered her mouth and giggled, well, let me introduce this beautiful woman to you. Her name is Hong Guan, and she's also Yulong's fiancée. Then why did she wear a maid outfit? Jasmine pointed out the white and black dress Hong Guan wore. Hong Guan stared at Jasmine, it's because I'm a maid. I might be young Master Yulong's fiancée. Still, I have to uphold my duty as his maid. Why, though? I already devoted my everything toward my young master. I owed him so much that I couldn't bear to stay idle for a second and wanted to do my best for him. Jasmine. What's this woman? A freak? Then, again. Hong Guan's words and resolution reminded Jasmine of her older brother. Love has blinded her. Jasmine firmly believed Hong Guan was similar to her brother. If Hong Guan knew what Jasmine was thinking, she would chuckle at her silliness. How could love blind her when it was the emotion that made her more powerful than ever? Hong Guan and Xia Kang talked a bit, giving each other a heads up about the current situation. I see, something like that happened. Hong Guan nodded in understanding. Indeed, Hong Guan couldn't think of any other person who could help Xia Yuanba in his problem besides Yulong himself. Her young master's power to dismantle anything at such precision and minuscule level is second to none. Does she know about his power? Hong Guan asked Xia Kang. Xia Kang maintained a calm face while rubbing Jasmine's head and answered mentally, no, husband never showed his power deliberately to Jasmine. Even when he helped Yuanba, he held back a lot and made the process rather long. That's good enough for now, I suppose. Hong Guan knew Jasmine was from the upper realm. A place where the shadow realm has no influence, which makes Hong Guan wary of outsiders. However, Yulong doesn't show vigilance against this scarlet-haired girl, as if he knew her already, surprising Hong Guan a little. Oh, no. Dodge. Xia Yuanba's shout suddenly entered their ears. The three ladies glanced back to the land near the artificial lake and saw a burning fist made out of profound energy homing toward Hong Guan. Hong Guan stretched her hand and scattered the burning fist by flicking her finger. Boom. Jasmine's eyes widened, this is... Did she use spatial manipulation? At such a small degree where one needs to have complete control over it. Individual from the low star realm possessed this kind of ability. No, wait. If she was Yulong's fiancée, then it's understandable. Xia Yuanba ran with a guilty look and bowed to Hong Guan rapidly like a chicken, sorry, elder. It was my fault. Hong Guan waved her hand, it's okay. Your control over profound energy is lacking, and you must start training your basics again. Go to the administration hall and take 10 greater heart-opening liquids later. T10? Aren't those medicines expensive? Xia Yuanba fumbled with his fingers. Yulong walked behind him and laughed, haha, do you forget who your brother-in-law is? 10 greater heart-opening liquids is nothing. You can even take 1,000 of those and put it on my tab. After all, Yulong is filthy rich. Who's brave enough to charge him when the whole thing is basically owned by him? Maybe Lily. Okay, then. Although Xia Yuanba felt wrong about it, Yulong's words made him more confident. Yulong observed Xia Yuanba's condition and nodded because the burly youth was fine after obtaining benevolent ruler divine veins. Xia Yuanba's potential will be no less than Xia Kang's before meeting him. I felt a massive change is already happening in this world. It's just that the change hasn't reached the blue pole star. Yulong rubbed his chin thoughtfully. I hope everything I've prepared is enough to handle it. Yulong cleared his throat and asked, ahem, what do you need from me, Guan? Hong Guan smiled and answered, the Blue Wind ranking tournament is about to be held again. The Heavenly Sword Villa has sent us the invitation. According to young master's words, the secret realm must have entered that phase. That phase? Yulong knew what Hong Guan mentioned. 3 years ago, the Lost Heaven sect won the Blue Wind Empire and Heaven Basin secret realm, but since it wasn't the time yet, they entered a completely different area. Instead of the snowy field with heavy hail, they entered a jungle forest with countless dangerous beasts. Even then, they still survived the area and brought some rare medicines. This year's Blue Wind ranking tournament will allow Yu Long to enter a proper Heaven Basin secret realm and obtain another Evil God's seed. More specifically, Evil God's water seed. Yu Long has extracted a decent amount of Law of Fire from the Evil God's fire seed and even mastered it to a certain degree. He also obtained perfect immunity against fire elements without using Evil God's legacy. King Yu, do you want to represent the Lost Heaven sect in this tournament? Yu Long asked with a smile. King Yu narrowed her eyes and returned, that would be bullying, no. Yu Long laughed, yet. But who said you can't have fun? I believed Sweruo would represent the Blue Wind Imperial Academy so you could fight with her. Are you insisting that I fight with my fellow sister wife? King Yu pouted. No, please don't put it in that way. Yu Long was helpless. Having too many wives is indeed troublesome. King Yu giggled, I'm just joking. I also wanted to see how strong Sister Sweruo has become. Hong Guan watched this and said, then, I'll deal with the rest. Thanks for the hard work. Yu Long gave her a nod. Everything is for you, young master. Hong Guan returned modestly. And this was the truth. Yu Long appreciated Hong Guan from the deepest part of his heart and vowed to repay her soon. After that, Xia Yuanba went to the administration hall, and they went back to the soaring dragon peak. Yu Long met Kang Yu, seeing her meditate near a pond. Boom! Kang Yu opened her eyes and released the might of Sovereign Profound Realm Expert. She has successfully broken through into the first level of Sovereign Profound Realm and even jumped 2 more levels before stabilizing her cultivation base. Kang Yu's cultivation speed is slower than King Yu's. Monarch Heart Secret Art and Art of Body Refining weren't focused on cultivating energy, so her cultivation realm is low. Well, she still benefited from them. King Yu is probably at the peak of the Sovereign Profound Realm now. Still, Kang Yu's physique and divination technique evened the playing field. Congratulations on becoming a monarch. Yu Long walked in with King Yu and others. Kang Yu chuckled, it's all thanks to you. After dual cultivating with Yu Long, Kang Yu felt her profound energy become smoother and more powerful. Also, good morning, King Yu. She added while gazing at King Yu. King Yu crossed her arms, morning. For a moment, Yu Long saw a spark between their gazes. Hong Guan shook her head and thought, they are surely energetic. King Yu is the first, and Sweruo is the second. I think it's my turn now. At this moment, Hong Guan steeled her decision and watched Yu Long's back. Her green eyes are smoldering with passionate love. Chapter 113, Visiting the Blue Wind Royal In-Laws. After Kang Yu broke through, everyone sat on a picnic blanket and ate lunch, which Hong Guan tactfully prepared beforehand. That's until Kang Yu uttered something regarding her family. You want me to visit your father? Yu Long finished his food when Kang Yu proposed this idea. Kang Yu nodded and smiled, yes. What's the matter, you don't want to meet him? Also, it should be your father-in-law now rather than just your father. An awkward expression crept on Yu Long's face as he didn't mean to sound dense. After all, Yu Long was happy to have Kang Yu as his wife, but he never met her family aside from her mother, the Blue Wind Empire's empress, Lan Shiro. He chuckled weakly, my bad. But why all of a sudden? Kang Yu placed a well-cooked meat in Yu Long's mouth and answered casually, he just wanted to meet you. I mean, as a father-in-law, he wanted to meet the man who would marry his daughter, no? Although you're an excellent figure, nothing is better than meeting someone personally. So that's why. Yu Long nodded attentively, chewing the food fed by Kang Yu. After changing Kang Yu's fate, Yu Long also altered the plot of the world substantially. The fallen Blue Wind Empire recovered with the help of the Lost Heaven sect. Kang Yu's father, King Wanhe, was an able emperor. He has an ambition to make the Blue Wind Empire great again, but he was purposely sabotaged in the original story, which led him to become gravely ill. The sabotage didn't happen in this timeline, nor did his wife Lan Shiro die earlier, allowing King Wanhe to rule the empire into prosperity. Hong Guan placed down her chopsticks and commented, if you want to visit the Blue Wind Imperial City, we still have enough time as the Blue Wind ranking tournament will only get started a month later. At the same time, there will be an auction at the Blue Wind Imperial City 2 weeks later. It's a good event to relax and enjoy your time with your father-in-law. You also might want to visit the branch there because we discovered some star eggs you mentioned earlier. Wow! King Yu clapped her hands. Kang Yu blinked at Hong Guan. Yu Long stared at Hong Guan in disbelief. Since when did Hong Guan become such a capable secretary? Were you always this sensible? Yu Long couldn't help but ask. Hong Guan shook her head gently and said, after a recent breakthrough in my profound arts mastery, I felt my mind become much clearer and could think faster. I used this to my advantage, managing the Lost Heaven sect and Shadow Realm most efficiently. As for sensibleness, that was intentional because I want the best for you. Yu Long felt touched by Hong Guan's words and sighed, you must be tired. If we have free time, would you like to go on a date, Guan? He sent a sound transmission, which surprised Hong Guan a bit. Hong Guan's green eyes widened as she nodded weakly, somewhat excited about their incoming date. Nevertheless, she must plan a few things first. Kang Yu and Kang Yu didn't know the date between the two, but they could smell something in the air. What's this bubbly, warm mood? Kang Yu glanced at Kang Yu. I don't know. Kang Yu responded. Meanwhile, Jasmine listened to their conversation and ate her desserts peacefully. She's in her own realm of joy. The next day. You want to visit Wan He? That's rare. Yu Zhan said after hearing about Yu Long's next trip. Yet. Yu Long answered helplessly. That's rough, buddy. Su Sanchen snickered at his grandson. Well, there is nothing about visiting your in-laws. Three men sat on the rock, watching the ladies pile gifts into a small mountain for Kang Yu's mother and father. Remember to give this shawl to your mother. And this 1000-year tonic is for your father. Oh, don't forget to take this jade bracelet. Kang Yu was overwhelmed by Su Nanan and Uxin. Now Kang Yu understood how extremely pampered Kang Yu was a few days ago. Kang Yu watched this with an amused expression. Who doesn't love pampering? Of course, Kang Yu liked it, but 1 hour with Su Nanan and Uxin was enough to make her admit defeat. Watching Kang Yu suffer from the same success, Kang Yu felt relieved. People do say misery loves company. After an hour or so, Kang Yu overstuffed her spatial storage with gifts from her grandmother-in-law and mother-in-law. We are talking about several thousand cubics of space. Send my hit to Shiro. I can't visit her yet because I have to feed her daily. Uxin said with a grin. Su Nanan revealed a merry expression and chuckled, yeah, the same goes for me. I have a big baby to take care of. Pfft. Everyone laughed when they heard Su Nanan's words, including Yu Zhan and Yu Long. Su Sanchen glared at Yu Zhan with a dark expression and said, I dare you to laugh, you little bastard. I dare you, I double dare you. Yu Zhan stopped laughing awkwardly. Yu Zhan might have become a profound practitioner years ago and strong enough to protect his dear family, but fighting his father-in-law aroused PTSD deep in his bones and blood. The day of broken bones was over, but Yu Zhan couldn't get over it. Don't worry, father. I will laugh on your behalf. Yu Long's voice suddenly echoed in Yu Zhan's head. Yu Long held his stomach and suddenly added, Old man, big baby doesn't suit you. What about old baby instead, ha ha ha. Pfft. Su Nanan was the one who laughed this time. Su Sanchen. You despicable rascal. You have no respect for elders at all. Yu Zhan stared at this and smiled inwardly because Yu Long still had his back. Not long after, the elders watched Yu Long and his companions fly to the horizon. If you want to talk, talk with your fist. Su Sanchen commented casually. You're strong, but not strong enough to defeat me yet. I'll be waiting. After saying that, Su Sanchen turned around and flew away. He's not honest at all. Su Nanan sighed and gave Yu Zhan an apologizing look. I shouldn't have made that joke earlier. It's all right. Yu Zhan smiled wryly. I'm used to it anyway. I know he was doing it for Uxin in the past, but I also have pride. Yu Zhan stared at his father-in-law's back and vowed someday to beat him in a fair fight. Of course, he must train more and more for now. Uxin stared at her husband and hugged his arm. Let's go, I will comfort you. Yeah, for Uxin and my family. Yu Zhan's heart warmed. Yu Long doesn't know, but he might get another younger sibling soon. Yu Long and 6 beauties flew into the sky, creating a sonic beam with their speed alone. By the way, where is Lily? Yu Long asked. Yeah. Where is Lily? Kang Yu finally realized someone was missing from their group. Hong Guan patted her forehead and sighed, she's already gone to the Blue Wind Imperial family. She was the one who initiated the auction. That money grubber. Chu Yueli indifferently grumbled. She probably wants to cheat everyone's money there. Is she that bad? Chu Yueshan, who flew beside Chu Yueli, asked. Yu Long, Xia Kang Yu, Hong Guan and Chu Yueli opened their mouth and said, yes. She even cheated me once. Yu Long recalled when they were staying at the Dragon God trial ground. Chu Yueshan gasped in shock. Is that even possible? Yu Long waved his hand and continued, don't look at me like that. Even though I'm godlike in your eyes, I'm not perfect. Only a few people could win against me in a gamble, and Lily is one of them. After hearing that, Chu Yueshan frowned and decided to remember Yu Long's words. She wouldn't trust Lily with her money. Jasmine listened to Yu Long's frustration and couldn't help but think, who is this great master who could make this scoundrel suffer? With this in mind, she was curious. Can I learn from her? Jasmine thought seriously. 3 hours later, they arrived at the Blue Wind Imperial family, landing in the Blue Wind Royal Palace's garden. Several guards immediately surrounded them, but Kang Yu stepped forward and dismissed them. Dear, let's go. Kang Yu sweetly said as she hugged Yu Long's arm. Yu Long nodded, and they entered the palace. Hey, is that? One guard dumbly stared at Yu Long's back. Yes, he must be Princess's fiancé. The only disciple of Lost Heaven Master and young master of the Titan Merchant clan, Yu Long. As expected, he's such an extraordinary young man. Kang Yu dragged Yu Long to the gallery room and opened the door, revealing a middle-aged man in an azure robe. Father, I'm back. Kang Yu leaped and hugged the middle-aged man. Welcome back. Kang Wanhee welcomed his daughter's return. And you're Yu Long, I suppose. Yu Long nodded and smiled, yes, nice to meet you, Your Majesty. Kang Wanhee's eyes lit up as he chuckled in amusement, you can call me father or father-in-law. And your status is higher than mine. There is no need for such formality. It's still early in the morning. What about breakfast? Sure. Yu Long found this father-in-law of his more amiable than he presumed. Chapter 114, I own the place. Whoa, you really come here. Lan Shiro arrived in the dining hall and noticed Yu Long talking with her dear husband. She would never have thought to see this sight right now. Morning, mother. Yu Long smiled at Lan Shiro. Lan Shiro raised her eyebrows because this was the first time Yu Long called her mother as he usually called her auntie. She glanced at Kang Yu and saw a glimpse of blush on her fair cheeks. Ah, my daughter has gotten eaten by this youth. Lan Shiro guessed the situation correctly. She didn't expect her daughter to move this fast. Well, she also gave Kang Yu a thumbs up inside. She giggled and responded, morning. When did you arrive? Maybe a couple of minutes ago. Yu Long answered after some thought. We are flying here. Kang Wanhee listened to Yu Long's replies curiously and couldn't help but be stunned because the distance between the Imperial City and Lost Heaven sect is several 100,000, if not millions, miles apart. Flying at such a great distance must expend quite an energy, but none of them looks flustered when meeting him in the gallery. He performs like the rumors said, a mysterious genius. 3 years ago, he was only a peak Earth profound realm. I wonder how powerful his cultivation base is now. Kang Wanhee thought to himself. After all, Kang Wanhee couldn't sense Yu Long's cultivation base despite being a 7th level of Sky Profound Realm himself. It means his son-in-law's cultivation base is far higher than him. As the breakfast continued, Yu Long talked with his in-laws and got to know them better. He has met Lan Shiro several times, but Kang Wanhee is a different man than expected. I heard the collision with the Sunflower Dew's nation 3 years ago caused a great change in the West. Father-in-law, have you done something about it? Yu Long asked out of spite. Kang Wanhee understood what Yu Long wanted to know and nodded calmly, yes, thanks to the Silver Lake City's Lord and Lost Heaven sect's influence, we could shave their border by 1,000 miles. We discovered some substantial mines in the area, which we used to increase the Blue Wind Empire's local workforce. We paid them well enough and allowed the talented children to train their bodies. If you visit the area, you will find a new city called Beast Gate City there. Interesting. Yu Long mumbled. What kind of minerals does this mine have? Kang Wanhee placed down his spoon and recalled some information at the back of his head, coarse moonstone, obsidian red dust, burning jade, and some ordinary ore like iron, copper, and gold. Burning jade, and coarse moonstone. They are pretty rare. You can make decent armor for soldiers with it. Yu Long commented. Kang Wanhee chuckled and returned, that's the plan. Blue Wind Empire is lacking and has the lowest profound practitioners compared to other nations, so I sought other ways to increase soldiers' quality. True, if you can raise their cultivation, equipping them with good armor and weapons will do as well. Yu Long agreed with Kang Wanhee's way of thinking. Meanwhile, Lan Shiro sat near her daughter and asked, so when did he eat you exactly? Kang Yu blushed and answered, 2 days ago. Oh? It's actually more recent than I thought. Lan Shiro leaned to Kang Yu's ears. Who started it first? Me. Kang Yu fumbled with her breakfast. Lan Shiro was surprised as she thought Yu Long would take the first initiative. But thinking about it, the golden-eyed youth is an overwhelming genius, so he should be somewhat lacking in romantic things. So he's a type that needs a little push first. Lan Shiro didn't know this side of her son-in-law. By the way, how are you, King Yu? Guan. Lan Shiro greeted the quiet ladies on the opposite side of the table. Good. Hong Guan answered monotonously. Xia Qingyu lifted her head from the plate below and smiled, I'm good, auntie. I can see that. You're glowing. Lan Shiro's eyebrows twitched because Xia Qingyu had this victorious aura around her. She sighed inwardly as this young lady was too overpowering. At least Lan Shiro wasn't that worried anymore. Her daughter has taken a firm spot. As for you two. Lan Shiro glanced at Chu Yueli and Chu Yueshan, who wore blue-white maid outfits and veils. Have we met before? Chu Yueli removed her veil and replied, it's me, Empress. Fairy Chu Yueli. Kang Wanhee, who was talking with Yu Long, was shocked by Chu Yueli's presence. Does that mean the woman beside her is? Chu Yueshan also removed her veil and greeted them, it's been a while, Emperor, Empress. What happened? Kang Wanhee and Lan Shiro stared at Chu Yueshan in disbelief. Why did the number 1 beauty of Blue Wind Empire wear a maid outfit? Chu Yueshan maintained her calm look and answered, I owed young Master Yu Long a lot, so he took me to become his maid to pay it back. Kang Wanhee. Lan Shiro. Son-in-law / Yu Long, this is. They glanced at Yu Long, who innocently slurped his noodles. What? Yu Long cast a confused look. As she said, I took her as my maid. In the end, Chu Yueli was the one who explained Chu Yueshan's situation to them. I see. Kang Wanhee understood why Chu Yueshan became Yu Long's maid. If he was similarly offered to become strong by Yu Long, he's willing to take a risk as well. Lan Shiro didn't think it was this simple. She looked at her son-in-law solemnly and believed he wanted to make a harem of beauties. Even the Blue Wind Empire's number 1 beauty is taken away. Men throughout the era would cry blood if they knew this. Her son-in-law is extremely capable, especially when catching beauty in the wild. Yu Long noticed the mood become somewhat awkward and opened his mouth again, there would be an auction in 2 weeks. Would you like to take a look, fathers-in-law, mother? Some intriguing items will get auctioned and might catch your interest. Are you talking about the incoming auction in the Blue Sky Auction House? Lan Shiro asked back. Yu Long nodded, yes, the one in the Blue Sky Auction House. Blue Sky Auction House is one of the Shadow Realm's assets and has generated quite an income over the last 7 years. It's also quite famous in the Blue Wind Empire. Very well, it's good to get out and breathe fresh air sometimes. Kang Wanhee agreed immediately. He has been stuck in the Imperial Palace for months because of his never-ending paperwork. It's decided then. Yu Long chuckled heartily. 2 weeks later. Several high-end carriages and profound arcs arrived at the Blue Wind Imperial City. There was a rumor saying that a sovereign-grade treasure would get auctioned tonight. Yes, we are talking about the peak of the peak. Only the top powerhouses of the sky-profound continent can use such a thing. A carriage with a Blue Wind Imperial crest arrived at the clean street, facing a massive building with white walls and blue tiles. The carriage's door opened, revealing 2 men who walked with beauty in their arms. That's the Emperor. People on the street start clamoring. Whoa, he actually attends this auction. I mean, who wouldn't? There will be a sovereign-grade treasure tonight. Kang Wanhee glanced at them and smiled, hope you have a great night. After saying that, Kang Wanhee brought Lan Shiro into the Blue Sky Auction House. The confident stride gives off the feeling of a dignified emperor. Well, let's go inside as well. Yu Long looked at the 2 ladies in his arms. Xia Qingyu and Kang Yu nodded, hugging his arms tightly. They wore veils to cover their beautiful faces, but even the curves of their body were more than enough to make the onlookers swallow in surprise. Who's that guy? Yug, lucky bastard. He has 2 beautiful women in his embrace. Shush, don't you see that he was coming here with the emperor himself? That means one of the beautiful ladies is Princess Kang Yu. The princess finally returned. No, you don't see the bigger picture. The princess hasn't gone public for years, and some rumors said it was because she accompanied her fiancé. And her fiancé is none other than that young man. That young man? The Lost Heaven Master's disciple. However, the shock didn't end there as Hongguan, Chu Yueli and Chu Yueshan followed behind Yu Long silently. Their alluring aura caused a gasp to everyone in the street. Shit, he even has 3 beautiful maids following him. Tisk, tisk, how envious. You men are short-sighted. Only those women deserve to be such handsome young masters' maids. If I had such an appearance, I would do the same. But you don't, bitch. Hey! You wanna fight, you wimp? Yu Long started a war between men and women in the street by walking in a public space. He doesn't know whether he should laugh or cry at this achievement. You created quite a commotion there. Lan Shiro giggled at them. Yu Long shrugged, I can't blame them. My wives and girls are too beautiful. A female servant in Blue Sky Auction House's lobby came to them and bowed, Young lord, the VVIP room number 1 is ready. Yu Long waved his hand and said, escort us there. At VVIP room. Kang Wan he was stunned. I never thought you had such a deep connection with Blue Sky Auction House. Just so you know, VVIP rooms of Blue Sky Auction House are only reserved for people with peak tyrant profound cultivation or above. And number 1 room signified that the status of Yu Long is not simple. Haha, not really. Yu Long laughed humbly. I never visited the auction house before, but I own the place. Chapter 115, The Auction and Lily, the Con Artist. Yu Long and others sat on a sofa. The VVIP room number 1 is spacious, with a tinted glass cover enchanted with countless arrays to view the auction hall below. On top of that, the room is well adjusted from the light to temperature, giving them maximum comfort. Do you need anything else, young lord? Their attendant, a beautiful woman in a green robe, inquired. Yu Long glanced at his in-laws and asked, Are you hungry? We could get some profound beast steak that could fill our stomach while waiting for the auction to start. Before Kang Wan he could reject, Kang Yu clapped her hand and said, I think that's fantastic, dear. We should get some. Father, you should try it. Okay. Kang Wan he responded helplessly. He was still in disbelief because Yu Long owned the Blue Sky Auction House. You heard her. Yu Long glanced back at the female attendant. Also, bring us wines. The good one that the manager keeps in her safe. Xia Qingyu, Kang Yu, Hongguan, and Chu Yueli raised their brows before giggling at Yu Long's scheme. The manager Yu Long mentioned is none other than Lily. He's trying to finesse her. The female attendant smiled in understanding and bowed, Okay, please wait a moment. Lan Shiro stared at her husband and sighed, Look at your face. You look like someone who got constipated. Our son-in-laws just want to make us comfortable. It's just a meal and drink. You don't know how deep your son-in-law's pocket is. Right, Yu Long? She smiled at the golden-eyed youth. Yu Long laughed and responded, Yes. Don't be too formal, father-in-law. After a while, the auction hall below was full of people from strong cultivators to high-profile characters. Yu Long didn't care much about them and enjoyed fine dining with his in-laws and companions. Tap. 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 Several light crystals lit up and focused on the main stage, allowing a beautiful young woman in a green dress to pronounce her arrival. She has brown-colored yet wavy long hair descending to her waist. On top of that, her appearance is like a warm sun in the darkness, which makes the auction's mood more comfortable than ever. She cleared her throat and said, Hello, ladies and gentlemen. On this lovely night, the Blue Sky Auction House would start its annual auction. My name is Lily. I'm the manager of Blue Sky Auction House. What a shame. Yu Long lamented this sight. Yet. Xia Qingyu agreed with him. She looks good in that dress. Kang Yu followed shortly. Chu Yueli patted her forehead and said, Unfortunately, she just wanted to scam everyone tonight. Hongguan have no comment about this matter, but one could see her mouth twitching slightly. What's wrong? Kang Wan He, Lan Shiro, Chu Yueshan, and Jasmine were puzzled. Chu Yueshan stared at the beautiful young woman below and couldn't help but wonder if this woman was the rumored con artist. She looked at her sister for confirmation, and Chu Yueli bitterly nodded. Jasmine's eyes lit up in the sky poison pearl's dimension as she vowed to learn from this incredible master. Hehe, just you wait, Yu Long. I'll pay you back many folds after learning Master Lily's trick. She laughed inwardly. Lily didn't know she got condemned and admired by people of VVIP room number 1 and clapped her hand instead. She summoned a beautifully carved stand and placed a jade box on it. Within this jade box is treasure birthed from heaven and earth's blessing, and 1,000 lightning struck a tree. A tree gained immense profundity and died recently, leaving behind 1.000 years of wood thunder bead. As Lily opened the jade box, everyone could see a brilliant greenish-purple bead. You can infuse your profound energy into it and release the might of Tyrant Profound Realm. As if responding to Lily's words, the bead released faint electricity, catching them off guard. That's... Xia Qingye was speechless. That's the bead I used to practice within the trial ground. So, in a sense, Senior Lily didn't lie about it having been struck by 1,000 lightning. But isn't this too cheap? Of course, Xia Qingye was talking about Lily's method. The material didn't even cost 5 yellow coins. Upon seeing everyone's surprised reaction, Lily smiled and said, "This wood thunder bead is worth 100,000 purple coins. In the profound sky continent, the profound currency is actually separated by 3 distinct coins. Yellow, cyan, and purple profound coins. 100 yellow coins are worth 1 cyan coin. And 100 cyan coins worth 1 purple coin. Just a reminder, a household's annual income is 30,000 yellow coins or 3 purple coins. Yet the thunder bead Lily auctioned 100,000 purple coins, so she was scamming them mercilessly. Since everyone is excited, let's start the bid." Lily brought her wooden hammer. 150,000. 200. 269. 320. Someone bid over. Lily's eyes lit up as she waited for any increase and said, 320, once. Twice. Thrice. She slammed her wooden hammer down. "Congratulations, sir. You've won a great treasure." Xia Qingye couldn't believe her eyes. She was lying as easily as she breathed. Lily clapped her hand again and summoned another box. However, this box is several times bigger than the previous jade box. An intense draconic presence swept the area. A glistening claw around the size of an adult comes into their vision. It was pearly white, shining with a destructive gleam. "This is the Scarlet Dragon's old claw." Lily introduced the time. It fell when the mighty Scarlet Dragon broke through to the peak of Tyrant Profound Realm, making it a suitable material to craft a fire-based artifact. The starting price is 5 million purple coins. Hong Guan raised her lips and commented, "What a con artist. That was Little Red's claw she robbed when breaking through the 5th level of Tyrant Profound Realm 3 years ago." At the same time, the bidding starts again. 5 and 69. 6 millions. Poor people, if you can't bid, don't bid. 6,5 millions. Fu *Ku, this dragon's claw is mine. 6,9 millions. 10 millions. A voice suddenly silenced everything. It's just 2 words, but many emotions flashed in everyone's eyes. Lily's eyes widened as she hurriedly announced, 10 millions purple coins. Goes once. Twice. Thrice. Congratulations to the gentleman in blue. You have won yourself a rare dragon's claw. Lily smiled, staring at the blue-clothed gentleman in the front seat. In the VVIP room number 1, Hong Guan's lips twitched slightly. This. After listening to Hong Guan's words earlier, Chu Yueshan finally realized how skewed Lily was. Meanwhile, Jasmine clapped her hand because Lily's method is godlike in her eyes. When Lily introduced the dragon's claw as from a peak Tyrant Profound Realm dragon, the aura and ferocity matched up. She didn't know what method Lily used. It's a product with less value than described, but to display such a thing with brimming confidence is something else. My heavenly slaughter star god's inheritance is focused on the law of slaughter that no one in my clan could bear. My killing intent is always thick and unbearable. However, if I master her misdirection method, I could display more surprise and absolute killing technique. At first, Jasmine didn't believe Yu Long when he said he lost to this woman. But now, Jasmine understood and convinced herself to be Lily's disciple. If Yu Long knew what Jasmine was thinking, he would be laughing his off now. Although he lost to Lily, it was in a poker game when he was drunk by an accident. Lily sucked a deep breath and announced, "Phew, what an exciting bidding we have tonight. Well, let's continue to the next and last item. I'm sure you heard of the rumor already." Lily placed down a long wooden box and flashed the audience a charming smile. What lies in this box is a sovereign-grade artifact. A mighty weapon that only the strong could wield. Forged by an ancient blacksmith, our Blue Sky auction house discovered this artifact and its legendary record in a secret ruin. Everyone focused on the wooden box, waiting for Lily to open it. Lily nodded at their reaction and opened the long wooden box, making weak people in the auction hall shiver. People with Sky Profound Realm and Emperor Realm froze on the spot. As for Tyrant Profound Realm experts, they could barely keep their bodies straight. Only Sovereign Profound Realm experts could withstand the extreme aura released from inside the long wooden box. Lily placed down an aura sealing array on the wooden box, but it still made people in the room release cold sweats. Lies inside the long wooden box is a 3.5-meter spear, whose body is mainly black with a red streak. The spearhead consists of two blades intertwined with each other. Somewhere in the vast ocean, a massive dragon hovered above the sea water. Hatshu! Zilong sneezed. He finished his lunch a while ago and searched for his toothpick. Where is my toothpick? I thought I put it somewhere in my pocket space. This spear's name is Plucking Sky. Lily introduced the spear. It's a sovereign-grade artifact with extreme durability and heat resistance. When a monarch-level expert wields it, that expert's strength will increase by 5 minor realms. If a peak monarch-level expert wields it, there is a chance of grasping Profound God Realm. Lily finished her introduction. Oh my god! This is crazy! This is completely crazy! There is such a treasure in this world. Profound God Realm. The mythical realm that everyone never achieve. The auction hall was literally struck by indescribable awe. None of them suspected Lily's words. After all, the pressure alone made them fearful. However, this also makes them confused. Why didn't Blue Sky Auction House keep it for themselves? Lily noticed their gazes and said, "Some of you might be confused by my action tonight. But my auction house simply doesn't have the power to own this treasure. So instead of inviting danger, we auctioned for a better future, and profit. Anyway, the starting price is 100 million purple coins. You also can add precious resources to increase your bid." Everyone was speechless. 100 million purple coins exceeded their pockets, but Lily didn't target them. What Lily targeted were rich, old fossils from 4 great sacred grounds and other monarch-level experts. Manager Lily is wise. A chuckle echoed in the auction house. A middle-aged man in a purple robe appeared from the shadows. "My Black Moon Merchant Guild is willing to purchase the Plucking Sky with 215 million purple coins. On top of that, we're also willing to cooperate with Blue Sky Auction House and supply a rare medicine every 2 months with 50-50 commission. What do you think?" Lily smiled and bowed. "Nice to meet you, Guildmaster Zig. Yes, the purple-clothed middle-aged is none other than Zig, whom you long met in the Divine Phoenix City." "Humph, you rotten merchant. Plucking Sky will be mine." An arrogant voice entered the auction hall. A white-robed scholar appeared and looked at Zig condescendingly. Zig smiled and commented, "Yeming, your Sun Moon Divine Hall is cheap. Bid over me if you have the money." "Humph." Yeming snorted and glanced at Lily. "Girl, Sun Moon Divine Hall bid 400 purple million coins and 3 drops of Sun Moon's Dew for that spear." "Ah, that's his hidden card. Sun Moon's Dew is a heavenly treasure that allows someone to develop resistance toward illusion and extreme mental power." Zig's eyes widened in surprise. "What a lovely night. Why don't this spiritual master join as well?" A heartful laugh brushed everyone's ears. Another middle-aged man stepped in, wearing a light yellow robe and a horsetail whisk in his hand. His white hair and gentle smile irked Zig and Yeming. "Ancient Blue/Gu King." Zig and Yeming said simultaneously. Gu King smiled at them and stared at Lily. "Absolute Monarch Sanctuary bid 500 million purple coins and 50 kilos of absolute red jade. On top of that, I will give the Blue Sky Auction House 3 favors you can use anytime, young lady." "Shit. Absolute red jade is also a strategic resource of Absolute Monarch Sanctuary. It's rock from the starry sky and a must material to craft a sovereign-grade artifact like Plucking Sky. Unfortunately, no blacksmith could use absolute red jade in this era. To think he would bring absolute red jade into this." Yemin lamented in his heart. Gzi also thought the same as he sighed. He looked around and expected someone from the mighty heavenly sword region to appear. However, he was bound to be disappointed because the mighty heavenly sword region has been quiet in the last 3 months. Then, I'll announce the winner here. Lily calmed herself down. Master from the Absolute Monarch Sanctuary, congratulations on winning the Plucking Sky. Gu King nodded, hee, thank you. Lily bowed to the audience and continued, everyone, I can't describe my feelings tonight. Still, I want to say thank you for attending Blue Sky Auction House's annual auction. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have a pleasant night. After saying that, the light crystals faded, and Lily walked down from the stage. VVIP room number 1. Yulong couldn't help but admit Lily was a world's wonder. Lily successfully scammed everyone who bid tonight. Yulong knew very well that Plucking Sky was just a toothpick with good durability, which meant Lily enchanted it to make it real. Well, she won big tonight. 500 million. That's the income of Silver Lake City after 9 months of operation. Yet she achieved it in a night. Yulong glanced at his in-laws and saw their stunned expression. Shall we return, mother, fathers-in-law? He asked with a smile. Kang Wanhee dumbly nodded and responded, yes. Let's go. Kang Wanhee's world turned upside down due to the auction, but it was just the beginning. Yulong winked at Hong Guan, and the red-haired maid understood her assignment. The night is still young. Yulong closed his eyes. He knew the auction hadn't ended. Chapter 116, Another Scam and Frightening Warning. Yulong and his companions returned to the Blue Wind Imperial Palace with their carriage. It wasn't the fastest, but they arrived in 5 minutes because the Blue Sky Auction House was actually not too far away. When entering the palace, Kang Wanhee glanced at his son-in-law and asked, is the city going to be okay? I'm afraid because of this auction, there will be chaos brewing tonight. Those experts. I don't think they have ever been in the Blue Wind Empire before. Because they aren't from around here. Lan Shiro added, staring into the distance. She sighed and stared at her husband, give it a few hours, and everything will be fine. Maybe you drink too much, and it makes you anxious. Yeah, maybe I am. Kang Wanhee shook his head dizzily. Lan Shiro smiled and said to Yulong, I will bring him to the bedroom. Yulong nodded, don't worry, leave the rest to me. The Blue Wind Empire is under Lost Heaven sect's protection. They wouldn't do reckless things, but if they did try, they won't leave unscathed. After hearing that, Lan Shiro giggled and brought her husband inside the palace. She was confident her son-in-law could deal with those monarch-level experts because he saved her life once. At the time, he was only 12. Kang Yu waved her hand and said, good night, Mom. Good night. Lan Shiro and Kang Wanhee entered the emperor's bedroom. Xia Qingye watched this and asked, you've sent Sister Guan to help Lily, right? Yulong stretched his shoulders and responded, yes. She knew Lily the best. Around this time, the Blue Sky Auction House would be surrounded by people. How could they not be attracted by the ancient ruin Lily mentioned in the auction? If the ruin is real, they would get their nose straight on it. Unfortunately, it's fake, hey. Xia Qingye got what Yulong was saying. Chu Yueli had a weird glint in her icy blue eyes and commented, but Lily should be able to handle it on herself, no? Among the shadow brides, her fighting prowess is no lower than Hong Guan. She can't. Yulong chuckled helplessly. Chu Yueli was taken aback. What do you mean she can't? Kang Yu was also curious. Yulong shook his head slightly and continued, it seems you forget what kind of person Lily is. How could she let her cash cow away? She's going to milk them dry. Xia Qingye tapped her chin and mumbled, at the same time, Lily put herself in a weak character, which lowered her target's suspicion. She was planning this from the very beginning. You send Sister Guan not to help Lily but to stop her from stepping over the boundary too much. Her eyes lit up. Ah! What a terrifying con artist! Chu Yueshan mumbled on the side. Terrifying is not the right word. Scheming is perfect for her. Yulong laughed, giving his companions a weird feeling. Why did you sound so proud? They stared at him bizarrely. Yulong rested his hands on his back and said, although the 4 great sacred grounds are our enemy, I never put them in my eyes. Even then, I'm still calculating the payback they should receive for making my family suffer too much. Some deserved more, and some deserve less. I can't let them die earlier, no. He slowly floated above the blue sky Imperial Palace. Yueli, Yueshan, protect this place. Okay, young master. The Chu sisters nodded. Chu Yueshan gazed at Yu Long's back and found him like an unrivaled immortal in the night sky. His calm and confident demeanor makes her heart beat rapidly. Let's go. Chu Yueli noticed her sister's state and dragged her hand gently. Chu Yueshan followed Chu Yueli. Kang Yu and Kang Yu floated up, staring at the lively scenery of Blue Wind Imperial City. It would be bad if people were fighting here. Kang Yu suddenly said. Don't jinx it. Yu Long pulled her cheeks teasingly. We don't know what kind of power those monarch-level experts wield. They wouldn't be able to injure Hongguan and Lily, but I can't say the same for the innocent civilians nearby. But with you around, nothing will happen. Kang Yu followed shortly after. You two are so cheeky. Yu Long let out a heartful look. In the end, he embraced both beauties with his arms. Thankfully, they are in the night sky, or blood of jealousy would pour on the land due to single men and women in the area. Blue Sky Auction House. Lily was quickly surrounded by the 5 monarch-level experts on the backstage of the auction hall. Well, let's not beat around the bush, manager. Zig smiled at Lily. We would like to know the location of the secret realm where you discovered the plucking sky and the ancient record of it. Don't bother to lie. Yeming grinned. You can't afford it. Gu King frowned and shielded Lily from them. Don't you think it's too much to bully a little girl, Zig, Yeming? Yeming snorted, at least I'm not a hypocrite like you. You protected that little girl from us to loosen her guard down. Lily listened to their conversation calmly and thought, who is little girl, you old fossil? She sighed because everything worked too well. At this point, she could proceed to the next step. What are you going to do next? A familiar voice suddenly invaded Lily's ears. Lily shivered and looked around, finding Hongguan leaning against a wall not far away. Lily's mouth twitched because this meant her young master knew about the auction. I'll start another auction. She answered casually. As expected of the money grubber, Lily. Hongguan commented upon hearing Lily's next move. Lily ignored Hongguan, who hid her presence from all these monarch-level experts, and stared at her cash cows. I could tell you about the secret realm's location. Oh. Zig was surprised. He was surprised because Lily could stay still in the presence of 5 monarch-level experts. 2 from the Black Moon Merchant Guild. Another 2 from the Sun Moon Divine Hall. And lastly, 1 from Absolute Monarch Sanctuary. The combination of their status should make this little girl from the Blue Wind Empire afraid, but she's surprisingly calm. This. You don't have to be afraid. Even though I'm alone, they wouldn't be able to touch you. Gu King said. He was confused by Lily's decision. Lily smiled and said, I've said it in the auction. People like me want profit. You're too greedy. Yeming found this situation funny. Is it bad to be greedy? Lily returned calmly. Greed is part of human nature. She rubbed her hands and continued, I can sell the information about Secret Realm's location, even the guide to enter it. However, I think your pocket wouldn't be enough. Are you looking down on us? 4 monarch-level experts narrowed their eyes. Lily sighed, I'm not. Truthfully, revealing this information will cause prosperity and disaster on the profound sky continent. Just name the price. The Black Moon Merchant Guild is the richest in this continent. Zig said with a stern voice. Lily had a sly look under her rueful expression and said, 1 billion purple coins. For each sacred ground. 1 billion, each. They were speechless. Girl, that's not much different than robbing us. 1 monarch-level expert voiced out. Lily stared at that monarch and added, the information is worth the price as it guarantees your safety in the secret ruin as well. And I believe men of your caliber won't lower yourself to this helpless little girl's level. Of course, you can change my mind anytime, and I wouldn't be able to do anything about it. With that last sentence, Lily made them feel awkward. Yes, people of their status won't lower themselves to bully her. What they did earlier was to test whether she had the information or just bluffed them. Very well, 1 billion it is. Zig stared at Lily amusingly. However, I didn't bring that much money around. I assume the same for my friends here. Humph, who is your friend? Yeming scoffed back. Gu King sighed. I only have 200 billion left after getting the plucking sky. Lily clapped her hands, it's so easy. If you don't have money, you can use a treasure of the same value. Zig. Yeming. Gu Kang. 2 other monarchs. Hong Guan. She must have planned this. I didn't plan to reveal this information, but you changed my mind. Lily put on an innocent and shy expression. Teehee. Everyone in the room collectively twitched their mouths. After paying some hefty prices and rare treasures, Lily placed them safely in her spatial ring and sighed in relief. Here is the information about the secret realm. Feel free to check them on your way back. She handed 3 jade slips to Zig, Yeming, and Gu Kang. Farewell, gentlemen. After that, the 5 monarchs felt the array's power invading their bodies as they were instantly sent out of the blue sky auction house. Ha ha ha. I'm rich. Lily shouted in delight. This. Zig and others appeared on the Blue Wind Imperial City's street. They looked at each other weirdly. Even though Lily said the information would be worth it, they couldn't help but doubt it. Zig checked the jade slip and said, I see. So, the secret realm is in the wasteland of death. That's a forbidden area in the Blue Wind Empire's territory. Yeming frowned, this information is lacking. She didn't tell us what kind of treasure we could get there. Gu Kang stared at them and commented solemnly, it seems you two are forgetting that Blue Wind Empire is also under another sacred land's protection. She sold us information, knowing we wouldn't dare to move recklessly. She completely fooled us. A helpless smile appeared on Gu Kang's face. Who cares? That little bitch dares to trick me. Yeming roared angrily. If she doesn't show herself in 5 seconds, I will flatten this city. Are you sure? A mocking voice suddenly appeared. Can you really do that? They looked up and saw a young man in a blue suit hovering in the air. Why, young friend, you? Zig recognized Yu Long immediately. You're... Yeming's expression darkened. Yu Long stared at Yeming emotionlessly and said, repeat what you said earlier. I'd like to see how you flatten this city. Before me, the husband of Blue Wind Empire's princess, you're simply asking for a beating. Humph, you're just a disciple of Lost Heaven Master. Do you think I'm afraid of you? Yeming lashed out even more, making Zig pale. What an idiot. Zig backed away, bringing his agent along. He doesn't want to get involved with this fool named Yeming. Gu Kang noticed Zig's action and also retreated. Yu Long looked down emotionlessly and said, even a third-rate monarch like you dare to disrespect me. It seems the Lost Heaven sect is nothing in your guys' eyes. Well, I don't waste my time. Just die. He waved his hand casually. A terrifying red light escaped Yu Long's sleeve and enveloped Yeming's body, reducing him into a bloody mist. He died just like that. Zig, Gu Kang, and the remaining monarch sucked a cold breath. Remember, as long as I'm alive. Yu Long said before disappearing into the darkness. This city is under my protection. I don't care who you are. If you ever threaten the city again, death is your only ending. On a silent night, chill invades the 4 monarchs' spines. Tonight, they finally witnessed a bit of Yu Long's true power. This is also a warning for them. No, this is a warning for the 4 great sacred grounds. Chapter 117, Great Way of the Buddha. In the sky, Kang Yu and Kang Yu watched Yu Long facing the 5 monarch-level experts. This city is under my protection. Death is your only ending. Kang Yu smiled and commented, our husband is exceptionally domineering. He is. Kang Yu nodded in agreement. When Yu Long revealed himself as the husband of Blue Wind Empire's princess, her heart was beating like no tomorrow. After watching Yu Long assert his dominance, both ladies couldn't help but fall in love with him again. Yu Long wasn't the type of person who would do this daily, but when he did, he looked extremely cool and dashing. Kang Yu observed the terror-struck faces of these wimpy monarchs and smiled. With this, the 4 great sacred grounds wouldn't dare to mess with the Blue Wind Imperial City, including the palace, auction house, and everyone inside it. Yu Long arrived on their sides and said, let's return. Everything is all right now. Okay. Kang Yu eagerly hugged his arm and put her head over his chest. Her beautiful face has this coy blush. What's the matter? Yu Long stared at Kang Yu, wondering why she was like this. Kang Yu grinned, it's nothing. Kang Yu shook her head and hugged Yu Long's other arm, let's go, it's going to be cold soon. The 3 returned to the Blue Wind Imperial Palace and saw Chu's sisters guarding around the perimeters. How is it, young master? Chu Yueli asked. Yu Long shrugged, one guy is spouting nonsense about flatting this city in my presence. I put him down in the end. I see. You did say 9 out of 10 cultivators are brainless. Chu Yueli returned, making Yu Long cough awkwardly. Well, that's one less idiot in this world. Chu Yueshan listened to the conversation and stayed quiet. She couldn't help but wonder what kind of method Yu Long used to put a monarch-level expert down. I've seen his powerful swordplay. If I'm lucky enough, I could see more and maybe gain some insights. The older Chu thought to herself. Should we wait for Hong Guan and Lily? Chu Yueli stared at Yu Long calmly. No. Yu Long responded after some thoughts. Guan is probably dragging Lily to the nearest branch. She told me they discovered some star eggs, essence sphere, a while ago. She will come back in the morning. You two should get some rest. He smiled at them. Chu Yueli's heart melted as she also responded with a smile, noted. Chu Yueshan was dazed. Yu Long noticed Chu Yueshan's awkward reaction. He turned around and waved his hand, sleep well, we are having a long day tomorrow. Kang Yu and Kang Yu glanced at each other slyly, hugging his arm with a grin. Tonight, you won't get any sleep, mister. Kang Yu said. Blame yourself for being too cool a while ago. Kang Yu added sultry. Yu Long didn't expect this, but the night was more steamy than cold. The next day, Yu Long opened his eyes and rubbed his forehead. He felt a heaviness on his chest and saw Kang Yu and Kang Yu resting on it. He shook his head as they were the ones who couldn't get any sleep last night. How could they compete with his monstrous stamina that was thoroughly enhanced by Kaiju Maker for years? Yu Long gave them a morning kiss on the forehead each, leaving them on the bed for better rest. He checked the bathroom and saw the grand bathtub nearby. Ho, not bad. He took a long dip, enjoying cold water on his skin. Jasmine suddenly appeared and sat on the bathtub's edge, having a slight redness on her fair cheeks. Whoa, what are you doing, Jasmine? Yu Long was shocked by her sudden appearance. Jasmine pouted and crossed her arms. This princess thinks the Sky Poison Pearl's dimension is too cramped, so I decided to come out and take fresh air. Yu Long. Who are you fooling here? The dimension inside Sky Poison Pearl is near infinite and would keep expanding due to its supreme spatial nature. Yu Long sighed, whatever. It's not like this was the first time you saw me naked. What? Jasmine blushed this time. Do you think this princess wants to see your bare body? You don't. I don't care about your body. This princess has seen someone with a better physique than you. Even though Jasmine said, she couldn't help but peek at Yu Long's chiseled abs and well-developed upper body. Unfortunately, she couldn't see more below due to the cloudy water. Yu Long's eyes lit up. Oh, who is it? Jasmine has this smug expression on her face. She placed her hands on the hip and raised her budding chest even more. My brother. Ah, the heavenly wolf star god. Yu Long unknowingly pitied the fate of her brother. He stared at Jasmine and asked again, and what makes you think so, Jasmine? Jasmine narrowed her eyes and answered, my big brother is called an unrivaled genius in the realm of gods. He's the heavenly wolf star god who surpassed his predecessor in talents. His heavy sword is unmatched because he trained a legacy art of a primordial god. Primordial god, hey. Yu Long has 2. No, 3 of them are technically on his side. And that primordial god is the legendary Rage God. Rage God created the great way of the Buddha and cultivated the body of saints that no other true god could rival. And my brother successfully reached the 6th level, also known as the very limit of the mortal. Yu Long was somewhat amused by her statement, I see. 6th level, and he's already strong enough to become one of the strongest. But you must have a reason for mentioning this profound art to me. Jasmine raised her finger and nodded, exactly. I know your body is that of a monster. I can feel it. But what if you temper it even further? What result would you get if you cultivated the great way of the Buddha? I cannot imagine the power you get from it. Yu Long rubbed his chin, interesting. Jasmine didn't say anything further because she could see more than anyone. The roaring monstrous vitality inside Yu Long's body was like a boundless ocean in her eyes. If Yu Long could refine it further, he would become even more monstrous. The great way of the Buddha affects your blood, meridians, muscles, skin, and hair. It hasn't even the slightest relationship with profound veins or even profound strength since it relied on the strength of the soul and nature instead. Its cultivation was absolutely not from battle but from comprehension. Normal humans cannot cultivate the great way of the Buddha without exploding since it puts a heavy strain on their bodies. Only people who have inherited a bloodline or have profound veins inherited from a true god can cultivate this art. In addition, the great way of the Buddha is an arduous art to cultivate due to its extremely harsh requirements on the cultivator's comprehension abilities. If Yulong could create his own profound art that rivals profound arts from the realm of gods, his comprehension talent shouldn't be low. That's what Jasmine thought recently. Very well, share the profound art with me. Yulong finally said. Jasmine swiftly placed her finger on Yulong's forehead and transferred her knowledge. Yulong closed his eyes and digested the new information in his head. What is profound way? What is the meaning of profound way? What is your goal? Several words echoed in Yulong's mind, trying to probe his soul. Yulong snorted and said, as expected, even a profound arts could carry one's dead wool over. But you're making a huge mistake by doing this on me. Swoosh! An invisible aura exploded from the depth of Yulong's soul, roaring at the enlightenment that tried invading its host. Kaiju Maker isn't just an innate ability. Kaiju Maker is part of Yulong, his most trusted partner. When a foreign substance tries to invade Yulong, how could it not be angry? Roar! What the? Jasmine rubbed her eyes in disbelief. A silver pagoda gradually appeared above Yulong's head and shone brightly in the bathroom. Jasmine was speechless because Yulong reached the first stage 2 Fu * King fast. Even my brother needs quite a long time. However, Jasmine's shock didn't end there. Boom! Second stage. Jasmine saw the silver pagoda become more lifelike. Boom! You gotta be kidding me. The silver pagoda above Yulong's head gained a gold color, indicating his breakthrough to the third stage. Boom! Jasmine! Yulong's silver pagoda turned completely golden with a faint glow as his body released its unearthed strength. His skin and hair gained a golden luster, but that's it. Boom! Jasmine's jaw dropped. Yulong's pagoda sucked the primordial energy in his primordial core and spread it over, circulating on his blood, meridians, muscles, skin, and hair. After that, his body automatically started absorbing nature's energy. And finally, boom! Yulong's pagoda is coated with black light, changing drastically. It is now mainly dark gold with this hideous charm. Yulong opened his eyes and sighed heavily. Phew, that was insane. Jasmine pointed her trembling finger at Yulong in horror and said, Why Yulong? What are you actually? Yulong coughed and then laughed while flicking her forehead gently. What am I? I'm Dio. I mean, your friendly contractor, Yulong. Chapter 118, Jasmine's next plan. Yulong breathed in and out, releasing a white mist from his mouth. He's sitting on the bathroom floor and senses the miraculous changes in his body. As Jasmine said, his body was terrifying compared to others, but Yulong knew he wasn't quite there yet. In his previous life, at his peak, Yulong could stop a world-destroying attack with just his body. Yulong clenched his hand slowly, feeling the muscle tissues move harmoniously. His lips curled into a smirk. The great way of the Buddha is profound art that allows someone to comprehend heaven's way and obtain body of saints according to the rage god's intention. However, my foundation is different. Like Kang Yu, I also cultivated art of body refining to a certain degree, and my body is near indescribable. But now, Yulong chuckled in amazement. I felt like I could do anything with sheer raw power. He glanced at Jasmine and said, Thank you, Jasmine. Jasmine furrowed her brows and stared at the black gold pagoda's pattern on Yulong's forehead. How much strength did you gain after reaching the 6th stage? She asked solemnly. Yulong tilted his head and thought about it briefly. A few 100,000, I guess. A few 100,000 kilograms. Jasmine's eyes widened in shock. The great way of the Buddha's first stage increased its practitioner's strength by 2,000 kilograms. The second stage increased its practitioner's arm strength by 4,000 kilograms. The third stage increased the practitioner's strength by 10,000 kilograms, a body as strong as pure steel and a healing capability that no ordinary person could possibly understand. The fourth stage bestows a bodily strength of 50,000 kilograms. As for the fifth stage, Jasmine's brother told her his strength had increased by twice the previous amount. Jasmine didn't know about the sixth stage because her brother never told her, but she assumed the limit of a mortal's flesh should be at least twice the fifth stage or maybe more. Even then, it's still 200,000 kilograms. That's 20,000 tons. Not many top powerhouses could rival her big brother because of this. Yu Long shook his head gently, no, a few 100,000 tons. Jasmine. She dumbly watched Yu Long standing up and walking away casually, leaving her alone in the bathroom. A few 100,000 tons? That's insane. If Jasmine had known Yu Long used over 33,000 tons of force when killing monarch-level experts 2 weeks ago on their journey back to the Lost Heaven sect, she wouldn't have been this shocked. Unfortunately, she was asleep at the time. Monster. I have created a monster. Jasmine mumbled in horror. Unknown to Jasmine, Yu Long isn't just a monster. He was the king of monsters. Yu Long dried himself with evil god's fire seed as he felt lazy this morning. He wore black pants, a loose white shirt, and a purple winter coat with a black tassel. The great way of the Buddha only circulated the primordial energy around my body and did not use it. Or else, I wouldn't be able to make a new kaiju. Yu Long thought while tying his hair. Yu Long has waited nearly 3 months to make another kaiju with primordial energy. If earlier events messed it up, he had to wait for another 3 months to create the ancestral god's new body. He watched the bathroom open, seeing Jasmine hover to his side with a frown on her beautiful face. Don't frown too much, or your skin will sag. Yu Long teased with a playful smile. Jasmine blinked and furiously jumped at him. How dare you curse this princess? It's up to me whether I want to frown or not. Also, this princess is still young. My skin is tender and flawless. Yu Long chuckled and was always amused because of how cute Jasmine was. He liked to tease her around. Jasmine pouted, so, what's your plan after this? What else? My morning routine, meditating. Yu Long walked to the balcony and sat down. He began cultivating art of ghost and art of violet mist under the sunrise. He doesn't have to manually use summer moon grand mist because the primordial core kept it running for him. Jasmine noticed chairs and a table nearby, sitting there patiently. She watched Yu Long's black hair get fluttered by the morning breeze and rested her chin on the table, using his arm as a pillow. The yin, darkness, and yang, light, are circulating nicely with each other without backlash. It was good Yu Long was born and raised in this low-star realm, or the world wouldn't be too calm anymore. She thought to herself. After an hour, Yu Long finally opened his eyes and exhaled dark purple smoke from his mouth. He glanced at Jasmine and said, "Want to walk around the city?" Jasmine's eyes lit up, "Let's go." Yu Long smiled and strolled around the blue-wind Imperial city with Jasmine. They even brought some morning snacks like fried dough and corn milk soup. They stopped near a fast-running river and watched fish swimming against the stream. The view of a struggling, weak creature against nature's force is amusing, but Yu Long and Jasmine also admire it. In the end, the fish successfully passed through and reached the other side of the river, where the stream is slower. "What do you want to do after the god-slaying poison is completely cured?" Yu Long suddenly asked, catching Jasmine off guard. Jasmine dipped fried dough into the corn milk soup and nibbled it with a complicated look because of Yu Long's question. "I'm going to make a new body for myself." "No, you're going to make a new body for me." "Oh, what makes you think so?" Yu Long put on a playful look. Jasmine picked another fried dough and pointed it at Yu Long. "You owed me for giving the great way of the Buddha. If you don't do it, I will cry." Yu Long raises his arms in defeat because he doesn't want to see or hear Jasmine's cry. His heart couldn't handle it as this scarlet-haired girl felt like his younger sister. Okay, don't threaten me like that." Jasmine pursed her lips, "Hee, I need a stalk of netherworld Udumbara flower, 3 profound beast cores no lower than that of the tyrant profound realm, and at least 35 kilos of purple-veined god crystal. Is that a method of people in the upper realm to recreate another body if they experienced the same scenario as you?" Yu Long couldn't help but ask. "Yes." Jasmine nodded. "But this method is difficult because of the scarcity of netherworld Udumbara flower. Finding this flower is like finding a needle in haystacks." "Well, maybe finding a certain dust in the primal chaos is more proper, I believe. It's not that hard." Yu Long commented casually. He knew the location of the materials Jasmine needed to create her new body. However, he also has a better option for her. Yu Long saw her munching the fried dough and added, "I could get you those materials, but what if I said there is a better method to make your new body? A method that makes you several times stronger than before." Jasmine's eyes widened as she looked at him seriously. "Why did I feel you were trying to trick me?" "This is no trickery." Yu Long responded innocently. However, you cannot return to your usual life. Our relationship might change abruptly as well. Jasmine wanted to accept right away, but something was holding her back. Let me think about it first. Yu Long smiled and didn't say much after that. He knew Jasmine's decision would be life-changing for her and himself. Jasmine silently ate her fried dough and thought about something deeply in her head. She was conflicted about Yu Long's sudden suggestion. He said our relationship will change abruptly. Jasmine stared into the distance. I don't want that. I'd like to stay close to you, you scoundrel. Well, it seems Jasmine has misunderstood Yu Long's intention. In the far future, adult Jasmine wished she could return to this moment and accept Yu Long's proposal. By doing so, they would be eternal partners. Chapter 119, Please accept me as your disciple. On a lonely street, two beautiful women walked while hiding their presence. Young master. Hong Guan halted her steps as she saw a handsome black-haired young man and a scarlet-haired girl near a river. Lily also stopped and glanced in the direction of Hong Guan's gaze. Oh, so that's the gimmicky girl you mentioned. She was quite strong. The money-hungry lady commented, feeling the pulsating slaughter energy within Jasmine's body. Should we greet them? We should. Hong Guan responded with a nod. They approached the river and jumped to the other side. Yu Long sensed the familiar presence and smiled because they were back faster than he expected. He looked up, seeing two graceful figures land before Jasmine and him. Jasmine's eyes lit up as she recognized Lily's face. Before either side could greet each other, the scarlet-haired princess jumped toward Lily and said, Master Lily, nice to meet you. My name is Jasmine, and I would like to learn from you. Please accept me as your disciple. She finalized, having a bright smile on her face. Yu Long. Hong Guan. What? Lily was speechless. She didn't expect to be in this kind of situation. The auburn-haired lady scratched her cheek and said, have you mistaken me with someone else? I didn't deserve to be called master or such. Also, too bright. Lily saw Jasmine's charming smile and couldn't help but be stunned. She also rubbed her eyes and did an extra check. This girl is too damned beautiful. Did the young master kidnap her from heaven or something? Jasmine shook her head frantically, don't put yourself that lowly. I saw you last night and was amazed by your skills. If possible, I want to learn those skills. Lily's awkward expression froze when Jasmine mentioned last night's event. Even though Lily was a thick-skinned lady, she knew how to feel horrible. She glanced at Yu Long, pleading for him to give her a way out. Just accept her as your disciple. Yu Long's voice echoed in Lily's mind. This is such a twist of fate. In the original story, Jasmine was arrogant and almighty before Yunche and even asserted herself as his master. Yet here, Jasmine begged to be Lily's disciple, a young lady who used to be a lowly servant. If Yu Long knew Jasmine's original intention to become Lily's disciple to defeat him, he would laugh his ass off. Hong Guan stared at Jasmine weirdly and thought, you have the greatest man in heaven besides you that you could ask to be your master, but you chose Lily. As expected, this girl is weird. Of course, Hong Guan didn't utter these words verbally. That would be impolite of her. Lily helplessly moved his gaze back to Jasmine and saw the girl's hopeful look. Fine, fine. She sighed. Stop looking at me with those puppy's eyes. From now on, you will be my disciple. Jasmine pumped her fist excitedly, yes. Yu Long was actually dazed by Jasmine's excited expression and smiled gently once again because she finally acted like a girl her age. The red-haired maid noticed this and decided to put Jasmine on her watch list. The four of them returned to the Blue Wind Imperial Palace and were awkwardly greeted by some guards. Yu Long waved his hand back and then walked inside in a pleasant mood. They arrived at the dining room shortly after. Yu Long saw his father-in-law, King Wan He, drinking hangover soup. Lan Shiro walked in with some servants and brought breakfast over. Good morning. Lan Shiro greeted them with a smile. She sat beside King Wan He and rubbed his back. Yu Long nodded, good morning. Hangover. Yet. King Wan He bitterly laughed. The wine we shared last night is too strong for me. I can't get over it, even until now. Last night? Wine. Lily heard their conversations and had a bad feeling. Yu Long has a funny expression, if you don't get a hangover after finishing a bottle of Millennium wine, it would be weird. Lily's face becomes stiff. She stared at Yu Long's back with a wrong expression, as if screaming how could you, at him. A big bottle of millennium wine worth 10 million purple coins as the main brewing ingredients must be spiritual herbs over 1,000 years old. That's why millennium is part of its name. Lily was lucky to get her hand on this wine after she scam. Cough, she meant trading some resources with the senile Gyue. Just a reminder, Gyue is part of Shadow Realm and blacksmith in Silver Lake City. Ah, you're the Blue Sky Auction House's manager. Kang Wan stared at the lady behind Yu Long, who looked like she was about to cry. Lily bitterly bowed and greeted, "Nice to meet you, Emperor." "And you too, Empress." Lan Shiro giggled and waved her hand, "Oh, you. Lily, we have known each other for a while now. You can call me by name." "The best I can do is ma'am." Lily returned with a curt expression. "Is that so?" Lan Shiro looked around, trying to find her lovely daughter. Yu Long sat down and said, "Sweruo and Kang Yu are resting. Last night was quite tiring." "You mean you were exhausting them?" Lan Shiro gave Yu Long a suspicious look, to which the golden-eyed young man responded with an innocent cough. Well, she didn't mind as she expected grandchildren soon. The breakfast continued while Jasmine napped inside the Sky Poison Pearls dimension. She was tired due to the excessive shock she experienced in the last few hours. After that, Yu Long sprawled in the garden with Hong Guan, enjoying the scenery and morning wind. Chu Yueli and Chu Yueshan are training on the field 15 meters from the garden. Lily and Jasmine are talking in a pavilion, and the scarlet-haired princess looks more energetic after her nap. They have their own pair for some reason. Hong Guan picked a small object from her sleeve and handed it to Yu Long. "Young master, here is a spatial ring with all the essence spheres inside." Yu Long accepted the ring and nodded, "Thank you for the great work." "It's nothing." Hong Guan replied humbly. "Also, there are several reports of aggressive profound beasts from the branches in the last 2 months." "Go on." Yu Long frowned slightly. Hong Guan nodded and continued, "After you left for the frozen cloud Asgards, we received several reports about the increase of aggressiveness from all profound beasts." "All, like on a large scale?" "Yes. The profound beasts are becoming more aggressive and attacking any settlements nearby. On top of that, the profound energy within their bodies have the same profound patterns, or should I say curse. The curse is deeply attached to their brain and blood, causing them to enter a crazed state." "Do you have any samples?" Yu Long asked calmly. Hong Guan knew Yu Long would ask this and retrieved several sealed glass bottles with black liquid inside, giving them to him. Yu Long activated his Kaiju Maker and scanned the glass bottles one after another at a fast pace, decoding the profound patterns. His expression gradually turned solemn. "This is demonification," he said while closing his eyes. Hong Guan's eyes widened slightly. "Pardon me, but isn't that what Xia Qingyu's younger brother experienced back then?" Yu Long sighed and told Hong Guan about the demonification wave in the upper realm. As the red-haired lady listened to her young master's story, her expression turned grave. "Pandora. Is she still alive?" Hong Guan couldn't help but ask. Yu Long put on a complicated look. "I don't know. But most likely no. If Pandora is still alive, her pathogenesis and genetic sovereign abilities would cause more chaos in the realm of gods. However, Jasmine said the upper realm still functions normally, except for some unpleasant events." "That's good to hear." Hong Guan patted her chest. Yu Long teased, "Are you perhaps afraid, Guan?" "Don't worry, Pandora's ability is more annoying than dangerous to me." Hong Guan stared Yu Long dead in the eyes and said firmly, "With you around, I'm not afraid of anything, young master." Yu Long was dumbly taken aback by her response but then shook his head in defeat. She's going to make him flustered at this point. He coughed and changed the topic, "Keep monitoring the profound beasts. I'll make the solution soon. Also, keep searching for more essence spheres. I might have gotten most of them, but my ability was unfortunately cut short back then." "Noted." Hong Guan put Yu Long's order as her #1 priority. She looked around and noticed the other ladies were busy with themselves. This is her chance. Young master." She called him nervously. "Yes." Yu Long responded while closing his eyes. Hong Guan opened her mouth and proposed, "Would you like to rest your head on my lap? It would be much better than lying on the grass." Yu Long opened his eyes quickly and saw Hong Guan patting her soft, toned thighs. He looked up and saw a slight blush on Hong Guan's cheeks, realizing she was nervous. "Okay. Don't mind if I do." Yu Long crawled and placed his head on Hong Guan's lap. It was soft and bouncy. He smelled her womanly scent and floral fragrance, making him relax. Unknowingly, Yulong drifted to a comfortable sleep. Hongguan heard Yulong's light snore and caressed his black hair gently, tracing her slender finger across his handsome face. She lightly grazed his lips and placed her finger on her lips. She did it a few more times, and a soft moan escaped her mouth. A burning passion was heating Hongguan's body, but she knew this wasn't the time yet. I wished we could stay like this forever. Just two of us. Hongguan's green eyes shone dimly. Chapter 120, Blue Wind Profound Palace, Choosing Representatives. The next day, Yulong walked to the Blue Wind Profound Palace with Kang Yu, Kang Yu, and Hongguan. They are here to pick fighters to represent Blue Wind Empire for the incoming Blue Wind ranking tournament. You might wonder where Lily, Jasmine, Chu Yueli, and Chu Yueshan were. Well, Jasmine was busy learning things from Lily. As for the Chu sisters, they are staying in the Blue Wind Imperial Palace because two of them are about to break through. Why are we even here? I'm alone enough to represent the Blue Wind Empire. Kang Yu said with an adorable pout. She glanced at Yulong and felt this husband of hers was wasting their time visiting the Blue Wind Profound Palace. The Blue Wind Profound Palace is the Blue Wind Empire's greatest cultivation palace. It's actually located in the northern area of the Blue Wind Imperial City. The Profound Palace was purposely established by the Imperial family 1,800 years ago. It is directly supervised and supplied by the royal family to gather young talents. The palace also had a policy that every year, it would accept 3 of the most distinguished disciples from each profound palace within the Blue Wind Empire. Those disciples will represent the Imperial City in the Blue Wind ranking tournament. But how could it compare to the Lost Heaven sect? It's like comparing mud to gold, discouraging Kang Yu from choosing people there. The Imperial family has never entered the top 100 for a long time, but it will change soon. Kang Yu was confident in herself. Yulong chuckled, hee, don't be like that. We might find some diamonds in the rough, you know. Acting all mysterious again. Kang Yu cast a suspicious look. Kang Yu shook her head because she understood where Kang Yu was coming from. She also acknowledged that Kang Yu alone was enough to carry Blue Wind Imperial City. After all, she knew how strong the gentle-looking princess was. Still, Kang Yu wanted to see what Yulong had for them. Hongguan was silent the entire time, thinking about what method she should use to spend more time alone with her young master. They arrived at the Blue Wind Profound Palace and saw a middle-aged man coming from inside. He's Dongfang Xiu, the palace master of this place. Princess. He greeted them with a smile. Kang Yu stared at the elder and said calmly, long time no see, Elder Xiu. We are here to check some disciples for the incoming tournament. Dongfang Xiu's eyes widened as the Imperial family hadn't sent him the purpose of this visit. All he knew was that the princess and his fiancé would come. He blinked and bowed to Yulong, nice to meet you, young Lord Yu. Yulong waved casually, there is no need for such formality. Gather all the disciples in the hall, and we will be waiting there. This. Dongfang Xiu awkwardly glanced at Kang Yu. Kang Yu crossed her arms and said, just do what he said. Dongfang Xiu awkwardly nodded, very well. All the disciples will be in the hall in 5 minutes. As they watched Dongfang Xiu leave, Yulong stared at the middle-aged man's back and commented, not bad, he's at the 5th level of Emperor Profound Realm. It seems the Blue Wind Imperial family is using their resources wisely. He's my father's bodyguard. Kang Yu responded. It would be weird if he didn't reach the Emperor Profound Realm, but it wasn't enough. The true powerhouse should be the Tyrant Profound Realm or even Sovereign Profound Realm. Well, let's go inside. They walked into the Profound Palace and noticed a man in a dashing white robe running to the entrance. He bowed at them, Princess, young lord, I'll escort you to the hall. Wait, you're Elder Washang. Kang Yu said in surprise. Elder Washang, or Qin Washang, is the Vice Palace Master of the Blue Wind Profound Palace. He's around his 70s this year and already reached the first stage of Emperor Profound Realm. It's not bad. Kang Yu was briefly taught by him in the past before following Yulong, so seeing him again in such a state is surprising. Qin Washang laughed and replied, you have become a beautiful young woman, princess. The imperial family is going to enter prosperity because of you. I am honored to meet the young leader of the Lost Heaven sect. I'd like to express my gratitude for taking care of the princess all this time, he added, cupping his hands towards Yulong. Yulong sighed and replied, she's my wife, so it's my job to take care of her. Wife. Qinhua Shang was shocked. Kang Yu blushed sheepishly. We will get married soon, Elder Hua Shang. Qinhua Shang let out a heartful laugh. Congratulations, Princess, young lord. I wish you two great happiness ahead. After that, Qinhua Shang escorted them to the central plaza, where several disciples gathered. Yu Long scanned the youths one by one and spotted his target. It was a red-clothed young man. He was shorter than Yu Long. His face was cold, his thick, black eyebrows were like two inclined sharp swords, and his gaze was as calm as a pool of still water, without any waves of motion. He's Fen Jueshan, part of the Burning Heaven clan. Of course, Fen Jueshan also has a special identity. He was the first prince of the Eternal Night Royal family, who reincarnated with the help of the Eternal Night Royal Queen's forbidden technique. It was faint, but I can feel our bloodline's connection. Yu Long thought, rubbing his chin. However, it seems Fen Jueshan couldn't remember his past life's memory. All right, everyone is here. Qinhua Shang clapped his hand, moving the attention to him. Princess visited the Profound Palace today. She wanted to choose 2 disciples from the Blue Wind Profound Palace to represent the Imperial family in the Blue Wind ranking tournament. Qinhua Shang's announcement caused whisperings in the plaza. They have heard about the legendary princess of Blue Wind Empire, and the rumor said she was cultivating in the Lost Heaven sect for years. No one knew about the princess's strength, but some guessed she was at Sky Profound Realm or above. 18-year-old Sky Profound Realm expert, what kind of concept was that? On top of that, she's also engaged to the young leader of the Lost Heaven sect. Kang Yu walked onto the stage and looked at everyone with a smile on her beautiful face. Her appearance made every young man in the room gasp in surprise. Their young blood boils. Even Fen Jueshan stared at Kang Yu with a stunned look. His once calm demeanor cracked for a second. How strong is she? I can't tell her cultivation at all. However, Fen Jueshan quickly realized something was weird with Kang Yu. The princess is not as simple as people thought. Kang Yu stared at the disciples and said, the Blue Wind ranking tournament will start in less than 2 weeks. I'm greatly disappointed in the Blue Wind Profound Palace's standard, as only a handful of you met my standard. Barely at that. So, I will make this short. I will release 5% of my cultivation base's pressure, and your task is to keep standing. If you pass, I will grant you a chance to become Blue Wind Imperial family's representative. Everyone was speechless. Yu Long helplessly patted his forehead. She's impatient. Well, this makes things more interesting. Xia Qingye giggled on the side. Kang Yu didn't wait for their response as a frightening shockwave swept the palace, stunning everyone. Dong Fangxiu, Qinhua Shang, and one more elder felt Kang Yu's pressure and couldn't help but gasp in amazement. The princess has exceeded their expectations. This is. One disciple couldn't handle the pressure and fainted on the spot with foam coming from his mouth. The disciples fell one after another, leaving 2 people only. Fen Jueshan gritted his teeth and released all his cultivation base. Even then, he could barely stand straight. His legs are shivering like no tomorrow. The other person is also a young man. He wore a blue robe and had this pained expression. Well done. Kang Yu retracted back her pressure. You two shall be the representatives. Tell me your name. Fen Jueshan stared at Kang Yu silently and answered, Fen Jueshan. The blue-robed young man trembled and said, Du. Kang Yu crossed her arms and continued, you two are too weak. For the next 13 days, you two will undergo intense training. Do you hear me? Yes, princess. Fen Jueshan and Du answered as they felt excited when Kang Yu mentioned intense training. Chapter 121, Last Preparation, and Heavenly Sword Villa. 10 days later. Blue Wind Imperial Palace. Yu Long sipped his refreshing drinks as he watched 2 sweaty young men running like dogs. Their bodies were trembling as if they were at a limit already, but he could see their excited expression. Poor guys. He commented lightly. You put them in the forbidden training regime I created years ago, knowing the side effects. At this point, their career as a man would be bleak. Kang Yu drank her lemonade and responded, they are short of time, and I'm not pushing them to agree. They are the ones who agreed with the consequences of One Punch Man's revised training. One Punch Man's revised training. Xia Qingwei mumbled to herself. One Punch Man's revised training is a set of exercises that could unearth one's potential. Yu Long created this years ago, but only a handful of people went through it successfully. The exercises included 100,000 push UPS, 100,000 sit UPS, 100,000 squats, and a 1,000 kilometers, 620-mile, run with a controlled diet. Every freaking day. The side effects of One Punch Man's training for men are permanent hair loss, IQ loss, and rapid body aging. If the women did the training, they would also lose their hair, bodily assets, such as breasts and asses, and be constantly emotional. What Fen Jueshan and Sikong Du currently experienced is improvised One Punch Man's training. The hurried increase in intensity improved their physical strength and cultivation base in a tight time span, but Yulong also could see their hairline receding. Fen Jueshan and Sikong Du finished their runs, falling to the ground with newfound power coursing in their bodies. They didn't mind the side effects as long as they became stronger this fast. Good, you have survived the first 10 days. Kang Yu commented casually. Your next task would be hunting Sky Profound Realm Beast down. Fen Jueshan and Sikong Du were shocked. Although their strength and cultivation have increased explosively, they are only at the early stage of the Earth Profound Realm. So, telling them to hunt down a Sky Profound Beast is no different than suicide. Kang Yu crossed her arms. What? Don't tell me you cannot do such a simple task. We will depart to the Heavenly Sword Villa tomorrow, so your time limit is 2 days. Get yourself in top condition, or you will get killed. After saying that, Kang Yu ordered some servants to drag Fen Jueshan and Sikong Du for the medicinal bath. She wasn't exaggerating when saying they could die. Yulong smirked as he expected entertainment tomorrow. He glanced at his beautiful wives and said, "Are you too nervous? You will have to fight each other soon." "No." Xia Qingyu flatly said. "Yeah, me too." Kang Yu replied calmly. "I'm excited to fight King Yu as this would show who was better." The lady glanced at each other, having sparks between their gazes. Yulong grabbed their hands and continued, "No matter who wins, don't push yourself too much." Xia Qingyu and Kang Yu's gaze softened as they nodded, If Fen Jueshan and Sikong Du saw Kang Yu like this, they would be shocked because this is not the domineering princess they knew. The next day, Yulong bade farewell to his in-laws. Kang Wanhee shook Yulong's hand, and Lan Shiro hugged him. "I hope you visit again in the future." Kang Wanhee said with a smile. Yulong likewise smiled and replied, "I will. Or you could ask Mother, Lan Shiro, to bring you to the Lost Heaven sect. My father and grandfather would be happy to meet you." "Yeah, that's right." Lan Shiro nodded at Yulong's statement. She has known Su Sanshan and Yu Zhan for years, and with their personality, they would get along well with her husband. Unfortunately, Kang Wanhee was always busy with his responsibility as the emperor. "We will see about that in the future." Kang Wanhee curtly responded. A few seconds later, a massive green-feathered bird descended from the sky and landed on the ground. Kang Yu hugged Lan Shiro and then Kang Wanhee, "Just wait for the good news. The Blue Wind Imperial family won't be the same after this." Kang Wanhee smiled and rubbed his daughter's head, "Are you consoling me?" "That's our ride," Yulong said, giving his father-in-law a nod. "Well, I will be waiting for the good news." Kang Wanhee responded with a chuckle. As Yulong and others landed on the bird's back, he waved his hand for the last time at his in-laws. They waved back, watching the bird fly to the horizon. Lan Shiro leaned on her husband's shoulder and said, "We might become grandparents soon." "And what makes you think so?" Kang Wanhee glanced at his wife. Lan Shiro laughed softly and responded, "Hee, my intuition." A massive, green-feathered bird flapped its wings and reached over the wilds in minutes. "Stop here," Kang Yu said. The bird let out a cry and nod, hovering in the air. Kang Yu stared at Fen Jueshan and Sikong Du and ordered, "There is a Sky Profound Realm beast below us. Defeat it within a day, and you can use any method in mind. Good luck," she said, throwing them off the bird. Fen Jueshan and Sikong Du landed heavily on the rocky mountain. They groaned and saw a massive python staring at them. Shit! Sikong Du cursed between his breaths. "Quick, let's run!" urged Fen Jueshan as he forcibly yanked Sikong Du to his feet. "We won't stand a chance against this monstrous creature if we engage it head-on." Yulong looked down in amusement and said, "The training has unearthed some of their potential. But only in grave danger could they awaken more of it." Xia Qingyu crouched and added, "If they survive, that's it." Given how shallow their foundation was, fighting Sky Profound Realm beasts is near impossible. But if they survive and win, they are worth teaching. Hong Guan, Lily, Chu Yueli, and Chu Yueshan observed the struggling young men below them. They would like to see how they survive this whole ordeal. Fen Jueshan and Sikong Du ran from the sky profound realm beast for half a day. They are playing hide and seek like mice to a cat. Their bodies were thoroughly riddled with injuries, but none of them had a pained look. On the contrary, they are grinning like fools and laughing like madmen because they can feel their untapped potential burst open every time the sky profound realm beast attacks them. In their last hour, the sun is rising to the sky. Fen Jueshan and Sikong Du are blazing with spirit, like literally with an intense flame around their bodies. They fought the sky profound realm beast with their lives on the line, using their fist as their greatest weapons. They could feel the heat from their abdomen in the last 10 minutes. Fen Jueshan and Sikong Du stood beside each other. They stared at the massive python and clenched their fists. This is it. Sikong Du breathed heavily. Yet. Fen Jueshan entered a stance. As the python pounced at them, Sikong Du and Fen Jueshan unleashed a mighty punch with all they had. Their blood boils, their bones rupture, and their profound energy explodes simultaneously. Boom! The rocky mountain was violently swept by a destructive force. The massive python fell to the ground, losing its life. As for Fen Jueshan and Sikong Du, they are gasping on the ground with a pale look. They also look several years older with balding hair. Kang Yu jumped and threw her yang, life, energy at them, healing their battered bodies. Not bad. She said with a smile. Congratulations, you have passed the training. I hope you are doing well later in the tournament and not disgrace my choices. We will not let you down, princess. Fen Jueshan and Sikong Du said with difficulty. At the same time, they couldn't conceal their happiness. Fen Jueshan was an underdog in the Burning Heaven clan. He went to the Blue Wind Profound Palace to become stronger and get his revenge on his older brother. With his current strength, Fen Jueshan could easily wipe his older brother to the ground and wash his past humiliation. Sikong Du was a 37th ranked disciple in the Blue Wind Profound Palace's inner palace. Although he was talented, he wasn't that talented because there were 36 people better than him. Meeting Kang Yu is like a change of fate for him. In short, they are grateful. They arrived at the back of the green feathered bird, and Kang Yu told them to get some rest. A few hours later. Heavenly Sword Mountain region. The Heavenly Sword Mountain range was actually located within the Blue Wind Empire's borders, but it was not under the jurisdiction of the Blue Wind Imperial family. It solely belonged to the Heavenly Sword Villa. Although the land originally belonged to the Blue Wind Empire and used to be called the Heavenly Cloud Mountain Range, the Heavenly Sword Villa was claimed due to their ancestors' agreement with the Blue Wind Empire's first emperor. So, the Imperial family had completely granted it to them to win them over. Thus, Heavenly Sword Villa renamed the Heavenly Cloud Mountain Range to the Heavenly Sword Mountain Range. The Heavenly Sword Mountain Range spanned 400 kilometers from north to south, and 450 kilometers from east to west. Its highest peak reached several thousands of meters tall and was named the Summit of Cloud-Piercing Sword. If one disregards all those short and small mountains, there are still 6 subsequent summits over 3,000 meters tall. Yu Long's group reached the Heavenly Sword Mountain region and saw countless figures flying at a massive gate between two mountains. Since the green feathered bird couldn't enter the area, Yu Long ordered it to wait outside. They flew to the entrance gate. Lily carried Fen Jueshan and Sikong Du because they couldn't fly yet. Thank you, senior. Fen Jueshan and Sikong Du said to Lily. It's nothing. You will be able to do the same soon. Lily responded casually. 4 women in snowy white robes greeted them at the gate. Ah, what a coincidence. It's nice to see you again, young master. A blue-haired beauty walked to Yu Long and bowed slightly. Chu Yueshan narrowed her eyes and commented, Murong Kyungsyu, you're the one who led the Frozen Cloud Asgard this year. Murong Kyungsyu nodded and replied, yes. I led Shui Wushuan, Wu Swexan and Jing Jing to the Blue Wind ranking tournament under the Grand Palace Mistress. Among the disciples, their cultivation base and fighting prowess are the best. Should we enter together? Yu Long chuckled. We'd love to. The 4 women responded immediately. Their expression is that of maiden in love when talking to Yu Long. Yu Long's women were used to it, but Chu Yueshan and Jasmine couldn't help but twitch their lips. He's too high in demand. The guards came and asked for their invitation. Hong Guan, Kang Yu and Murong Kyungsyu stepped out. 3 beauties make everyone around gasped in shock for a moment. The guard was stunned and dumbly accepted the invitation. These are The guard checked the invitation letters. Welcome to the Heavenly Sword Villa, dear guests from Lost Heaven Sect, Frozen Cloud Asgard, and Blue Wind Imperial family. Murmurs echo in the area when the guards mention their factions' names. The guard offered to escort them to their temporary settlement, but Yulong and others refused. Luckily, their courtyards are near each other. Upon entering the Heavenly Sword Villa, Yulong could feel the profound energy's density was higher than the outside. He also sensed this hidden sharpness from the surrounding peaks. It seems I won't get too bored here. Yulong thought with a smile. His goal was the Heaven Basin's secret realm, but who said he couldn't have fun first? Chapter 122, Causing Envy and Jealousy. Yulong and his companions walked on the street. He was inviting envy to have so many beautiful ladies on his side. Although the onlookers couldn't see some of the ladies' faces as they wore veils and not very revealing clothes, they could tell they were great beauties with such nicely shaped bodies. Even Fen Jueshan and Sikong Du felt weird about this, so they walked 5 meters away from Yulong and others. They didn't want to gather attention themselves. Who is this guy? Someone said with an annoyed face. I know he's handsome, but why did so many beauties escort him into the Heavenly Sword Villa? Many agreed with this person because they didn't know about the current Yulong. After all, Yulong hasn't gone public for over 3 years. So, not many people recognized him. They are envious, but Yulong doesn't care. So what if these people are unhappy? He's the one with beauty in his arms. They arrived at the courtyards, which were intentionally built near a waterfall. There are also countless beautiful trees around it. Well, you can call us anytime, young master. Mirong Kyungseo giggled before bidding her farewell to Yulong. She sauntered off with her disciples as they swayed their hips slightly to entice him. Gulp. Although the acts weren't actually done to entice Fen Jueshan or Sikong Du, they couldn't help but swallow their saliva. But who can blame them? Such a sight is too much for hot-blooded youth like them. Where are you looking? Kang Yu frowned at the two. Fen Jueshan and Sikong Du awkwardly shrank their necks, looking away immediately. Kang Yu sighed and said, your cells have yet to recover, so you two will stay in the courtyard for the Blue Wind Imperial family and rest until the tournament starts. What about you, princess? Sikong Du asked. Yulong suggestively placed his hand on Kang Yu's shoulder and replied to Sikong Du's question playfully, what are you even asking? Of course, she would be staying with me. Ah, I see. Sikong Du felt dumb for asking such a question. Kang Yu was engaged to Yulong, so she obviously would stay under the same roof as him. We will excuse ourselves then, princess. Fen Jueshan patted Sikong Du's shoulder as they walked away to the third courtyard in the area. Yulong watched them silently and commented, I'm surprised you're not mad at me or the ladies of Frozen Cloud Asgard for doing things like that. Kang Yu pouted, but she didn't say anything to refute him. Xiaoqing Yu also shook her head because they could only blame it on Yulong's monstrous stamina. The two ladies' last experience made them realize they needed more women on the bed. Xiaoqing Yu and Kang Yu didn't mind Yulong having more women on his side. As long as he loves and pays attention to them often, like having quality time, more help is welcome to the team. Ultimately, it depends on Yulong. They couldn't just throw random women at him. If you want to talk with Mirong Kyungseo more, you can stay in the second courtyard. Yulong said, making Chu Yueli and Chu Yueshan shake their heads. Chu Yueli smiled and responded, no, young master. Yueli would like to stay on your side all the time. Same for me. Chu Yueshan followed with a nod. Yulong blinked at Chu Yueshan's response and chuckled because he might arouse envy from the Villa Master of Heavenly Sword Villa. In the original story, the Villa Master was such a massive simp despite being married to a beautiful wife and having 2 freaking sons. Stay then. Yulong didn't care about the Villa Master. Even without the influence of the Lost Heaven sect, he could flatten the Heavenly Sword Villa with his eyes closed. They went to the first courtyard, enjoying the spacious space and beautiful scenery nearby. Hongguan placed arrays around the courtyard so no one could spy on them. Lily went out and fished for people to scam. She meant people to get information from. Chu Yueli and Chu Yueshan meditated in their room, maintaining a chill but comfortable temperature in the courtyard. Since almost everyone is busy, Yulong spends more time with Xiaoqing Yu and Kang Yu. Xiaoqing Yu made tea for them while Kang Yu massaged Yulong's shoulders. Such an envious-inducing sight indeed. Yulong sipped Xiaoqing Yu's tea and said, nice tea. Your tea-making skill improved again, King Yu. Hearing Yulong's praise, Kang Yu smiled and poured another more tea for him. At the same time, Kang Yu increased the strength of her grip and kneaded Yulong's muscles skillfully. Yulong coughed awkwardly, "Hoh, your skill also improved, Sweruo. Competitive wives are no jokes." As they enjoyed their time, the Heavenly Sword Villa entered panic mode when the guards reported representatives from Lost Heaven Sect and Frozen Cloud Asgard arrived a moment ago. The current Villa Master is currently sitting on his lofty throne. His wife also sat beside him, staring at the kneeling guard solemnly. What did you say? Chu Yueshan was coming with the Lost Heaven Sect's young leader. The Villa Master, Ling Yuefan, questioned with a dark expression. You can tell a hint of excitement and annoyance in his voice. The guard lowered his head even further and responded, yes. The Lost Heaven Sect's young leader brought over 5 women, 2 of them were the Fairy of Frozen Glass, Chu Yueli, and Fairy of Frozen Beauty, Chu Yueshan. At first, I found it strange to see both fairies with the young leader of the Lost Heaven Sect, but it became even more startling when the Frozen Cloud Asgard's representatives acted intimately with him. As if they have a special relationship with him. The guard sounds jealous, which causes the Villa Mistress's eyebrow to twitch slightly. The Villa Mistress's name is Ling Yufeng or Xian Yuan Yufeng, as she was the daughter of an elder from the mighty Heavenly Sword region. She loved her husband dearly, but who would have thought he could think of another woman in her presence? It is no different than insulting her effort and pride. Curse you, Chu Yueshan! Why did you have to appear out of nowhere and ruin my day? Xian Yuan Yufeng clenched her fair hand. She bit her lips and said in annoyance, do you still have more to say? No. The guard replied fearfully. Then what are you waiting for? Get the hell out of here! Xian Yuan Yufeng shouted at the guard, making him run away in a hurry. Ling Yuefan frowned, what's the meaning of this, Yufeng? What? Do you think I didn't notice your shining eyes when the guard mentioned Chu Yueshan was here? Ling Yuefan, you're my husband. How dare you think of that filthy woman? She's not filthy. Chu Yueshan is not filthy, you. Ling Yuefan's response becomes frantic, but he quickly swallows his words when he meets Xian Yuan Yufeng's cold eyes. Xian Yuan Yufeng despised their constant arguments over Ling Yuefan's incapacity to forget Chu Yueshan. Even in his sleep, Ling Yuefan mutters that bitch's name sometimes. For Xian Yuan Yufeng, who always sleeps beside her husband, it was slow but agonizing torture. Xian Yuan Yufeng stormed out of the room and arrived at the lonely peak with tears dropping from her eyes. She hugged her knees and stared at the distance. Yufeng, what are you doing here? A gentle-looking elder landed on the peak. He wore a blue robe and had a very average build. He's Ling Kun, one of the mighty Heavenly Sword region's elders and Xian Yuan Yufeng's uncle. Xian Yuan Yufeng wiped her tears and said, Uncle, I think my husband would never change. She told Ling Kun about her recent argument with her husband, causing the elder to frown. That bastard! He doesn't know his place. Ling Kun mumbled in anger. Ling Kun felt horrible for Xian Yuan Yufeng because she had spent over 2 decades as Ling Yuefan's best possible wife. She dedicated her love to Ling Yuefan, even though it was against her father's wishes, and even helped him to become the Villa Master of Heavenly Sword Villa. But what she got is nothing but an unfaithful husband. Ling Kun sighed and said, what do you want me to do? Xian Yuan Yufeng stared at the distance again and answered, can you get me information about Chu Yueshan lately? If possible, I want to know her relationship with the Lost Heaven Sect's young leader. The Lost Heaven Sect's young leader, Yulong. Ling Kun returned weirdly. Yes. Xian Yuan Yufeng nodded slowly. I want to know more about them before making any move. Ling Kun helplessly rubbed his forehead, very well. It's hard to get my hands on information about the Lost Heaven Sect's young leader, but I'll do my best. Chapter 123, The Blue Wind Ranking Tournament finally begins. At night, a beautiful white moon hangs in the sky. The ladies are sleeping, allowing Yulong to have a piece of calm for himself. He loved their presence and wished it never ended, but sometimes quiet time is appreciated. Yulong stepped on a uniquely shaped rock near the waterfall, whistling casually as the night breeze washed his handsome face. He also ran art of ghost and absorbed natural yin, darkness, elements in the atmosphere, making a dark purple aura flutter around him. Not far away, Xian Yuan Yufeng glanced down from the hidden peak she shut herself in. When the heartbroken woman heard the pleasant-sounding whistle, she couldn't help but want to check the source of it. Unfortunately for her, the mist is quite thick tonight. All she could see was a faint silhouette with flickering dark purple light. Xian Yu and Yu Feng huffed as she didn't want to go down this peak because her husband might annoy her even further, but her curiosity also got her good. Ultimately, she decided to stay on the peak and closed her eyes. She enjoyed the whistle, which seemingly calmed her mind and soul. It was a weird sensation. It feels like countless silks brush against Xian Yu and Yu Feng's skin, drowning her in relaxation. She began to forget her frustration and heavy thoughts, causing her to enter this zen-like state. As time passed, a small smile gradually crept onto her beautiful face. But good times are always bound to end. Xian Yu and Yu Feng was about to drift into sleep, but the whistle abruptly stopped and made her eyes open wide. She clicked her tongue and hurriedly looked down, noticing the silhouette was gone. She clenched her fist silently. Why did you stop so randomly? If you let me enjoy the tune a little longer, I could have fallen asleep comfortably and forgotten about this horrible life. Xian Yu and Yu Feng sighed and stared at the distant landmass below. I don't know who you are, but I'll find you no matter what. Her last statement was actually filled with unsatisfied curiosity and longing. Unknown to Yu Long, he has triggered an unexpected flag, or is it? Yu Long strolled back to his courtyard and heard someone punching a rock or something. He raised his brow and jumped to the third courtyard's wall, seeing Fen Jueshan wholeheartedly train himself. I'm sure Sweruo told you to get some rest. Yu Long commented, alerting Fen Jueshan. Why are you punching rock in the middle of the night? Fen Jueshan awkwardly glanced at Yu Long, finding this situation quite ridiculous. He had trained hard for over 12 days and even pushed himself to the point his body's cells tore apart, but he still couldn't sense Yu Long's arrival as if he were a ghost. Well, Fen Jueshan's way of view is funnily skewed. How could he compare himself to the creator of his training method? Yu Long caught a glimpse of helplessness in Fen Jueshan's usual calm eyes and commented, Are you surprised that you can't sense me at all? Don't be too discouraged, Fen Jueshan. I'm not saying this to be an arrogant asshole, but our strength is completely on a different level. Fen Jueshan narrowed his eyes, just because you're the Lost Heaven sect's young leader. No. Yu Long chuckled confidently. I'm just strong. He turned around and walked away, waving his hand casually. Don't push yourself too hard. Even though Sweruo's yang, life, energy patched your body so you could recover from the damage of One Punch Man's training, it would be useless if you don't listen to her advice. Fen Jueshan stared at the wall for 5 more minutes and finally stopped training. He returned to his room and digested Yu Long's words the whole night. Since I can't train my body, I would train my mind. It's not just about revenge on his spiteful brother anymore. Fen Jueshan's desire to become stronger ignited upon talking to Yu Long tonight. That's right, power is everything. Fen Jueshan didn't realize it. He gradually became a training maniac due to a twist of fate. Yu Long arrived at the first courtyard and saw Lily sneaking around with a suspicious look on her face. His lips twitched as he appeared behind Lily, grabbing her collar gently. Young master, what a fine night, right? Lily laughed, dodging his probing gaze. Yu Long. Who are you fooling this time? Yu Long knew Lily's personality the best, so when she acted like this, she must have lured a big fish. Okay, spit it. What are you talking about, young master? Spit? How could you order a lady to do something like that, hee. She nervously responded, still dodging Yu Long's gaze. Yu Long pinched Lily's chin and directed it to his face, allowing the money-loving maid to see the majestic golden eyes. Are you sure you don't want to tell me? Lily gulped as her saliva squealed in frustration. Okay, stop. I will tell you about the big fish. Yug, the young master is so petty. You should know that our eyes are one of my weaknesses. Yu Long rolled his eyes, yet, for the wrong reason. His golden eyes are Lily's weakness because they remind her of pure gold. Lily leaned on the wall and patted her chest. Around 3 hours ago, I was snooping around for information. I gathered some interesting drama and story, but something stood out the most. It's about the Villa Master and Mistress of Heavenly Sword Villa. Let me guess. The marriage isn't going well. Yu Long opened his mouth as he sat on a wooden rail. Lily's eyes widened. How did you know? Well, you guessed. The Villa Master and Mistress relationship is in shambles due to one particular woman. That woman is your newest maid, Chu Yueshan. Apparently. The Villa Master wasn't a very loyal man. Lily giggled, giving Yu Long a side eye. What's with that look? I didn't choose the harem life. The harem life chose me, Lily. Yu Long straightened her words. Yeah, sure. I trust you. Lily sarcastically thought to herself. She couldn't believe how shameless Yu Long had become in the past 10 years. He used to be so cute and well-mannered. Lily crossed her eyes and continued, as I wandered around the Heavenly Sword Villa to scam. Cough, I mean to gather more information. A tyrant profound realm elder approached me out of nowhere and offered me to talk somewhere. Anyway, we went to this boogie-looking tea house where a cup of tea alone is 1,500 profound purple coins. She said, completely forgetting she scammed over 3 billion less than 2 weeks ago. His name is Ling Kun. He intends to get my mouth open about you and Chu Yueshan. Of course, I'm playing hard to get, so he offered some freebies and cash for anything related to you. You even sold me for profits, hey. Yu Long doesn't know whether he must laugh or cry in this situation. Lily rubbed her hands and replied, hee, don't worry. I didn't give him any important or sensitive information about you, as he obviously belonged to the mighty Heavenly Sword region. So, I told him Chu Yueshan became your maid because she owed you a lot of things. I also told him that your relationship with the Fairy of Frozen Fairy is quite spicy. Yu Long listened to Lily's story silently, and his expression became darker as time passed. This fellow is daring to make trouble for her young master so she can get more money later. He doesn't know what to do with her. Should she praise or scold her? Yu Long thought about something and asked, he left behind a jade slip for communication, right? He did. Lily nodded calmly. After all, Ling Kun wanted to know more about you and Chu Yueshan. Yu Long tapped the wooden rail and questioned, how much did he pay you? 2 million purple coins and some rare pills, Lily responded unwillingly. Give them to me. What? That's unfair. And you sold my info to outsiders. I deserved the whole cut. What about 5%? Yu Long stared at Lily and stretched his right hand as he didn't want to negotiate with her anymore. Lily indignantly pouted and placed a storage ring on Yu Long's palm. After that, she immediately ran away, releasing a fake cry. Yu Long watched her back disappear into the room in the left corner and shook his head gently. He knew very well information about him wouldn't be this cheap. We are talking about information about the Lost Heaven sect's young leader, a rising star of the new generation. No one could buy such information with 2 million purple coins and some rare pills. If Yu Long guessed correctly, Lily indeed gave him 5% of the whole thing. Yu Long threw the ring into Sky Poison Pearl's dimension and walked to his room with hands on his back. Ling Kun is a third-rate villain in the original story. He's no different than a greedy and annoying fly. But the real reason he investigated me is probably because of that jealous woman. He's her uncle, after all. The jealous wife of the villa master is quite vicious but pitiful as well. Let's see. What should I do with them? Yu Long put on an evil smirk on his face. The next day, the Heavenly Sword Villa is bustling with activity. Festive sounds echoed to all corners, telling everyone that the Blue Wind ranking tournament was about to start. At Sword Discourse Arena, 1,500 youth from 16 to 20 years of age and 500 different top sects attended this tournament, wanting to showcase their talents. They are young and hot-blooded, coming here to chase their dream. Welcome, everyone. An elder jumped to the stage. He has a warm smile on his face. He's Ling Wukuo, the Heavenly Sword Villa's representative who once visited the Lost Heaven sect's gathering 4 years ago. He's also the referee for the current Blue Wind ranking tournament. My name is Ling Wukuo. And with further ado, I announced that the Blue Wind ranking tournament finally begins. Chapter 124, Unbalanced Line UPS. The Blue Wind ranking tournament started. Ling Wukuo smiled in satisfaction as he saw around 1,500 youths gathered here to show their sect's best talents. Only the best out of the best in the Blue Wind Empire could enter the Blue Wind ranking. However, Ling Wukuo quickly noticed a familiar-looking young man slouched over a seat with some beauties on his side. Although the seat is far back right, which means not many people pay attention to it, Ling Wukuo's sharp eyes still catch the location, and he is shocked. What's he doing here? Ling Wukuo caught a glimpse of the golden-eyed young man. Yes, the same golden-eyed young man who shocked the profound sky continent with his monstrous talent 4 years ago. Ling Wukuo was baffled by Yu Long's sudden appearance as he quickly communicated with the Heavenly Sword Villa's villa master about this matter. However, all he got from Ling Yuefan was a passive answer. What do you mean they just come? Why didn't anyone notify me about this? Ling Wukuo was speechless. Some audience members noticed his mustache and mouth twitching slightly. Yu Long felt Ling Wuqiuo's gaze and waved his hand casually. Ling Wuqiuo awkwardly nodded at Yu Long and sighed inwardly, "Villa Master, I'm afraid you don't know how monstrous this fellow was. Ahem, before we start the first round. Everyone! You may join me on the main stage and test your profound strength when I call your name." On the main stage, there is a white tower that could read one's bone age and cultivation realm. All the contestant needs to do is place their hands on the altar beneath it. Understand? Understood, sir. Collective shouts responded. Ling Wuqiuo pulled out a scroll and started calling the contestants' names one after another, allowing them to join him on the main stage. Flying Sword Sect, Gong Dian Chen. 19 years old, 3rd stage of Spirit Profound Realm. Flying Sword Sect, Gong Ming Chen. 19 years old, 4th stage of Spirit Profound Realm. Flying Sword Sect, Gong Luokan. 18 years old, 5th stage of Spirit Profound Realm. Water Grotto Land, Shui Bang. Everyone attentively watched the main stage with great interest, but Yu Long and the ladies were bored. When it comes to young talents, their standards are massively different than these people. The Lost Heaven sect and Shadow Realm didn't rate their disciples or shadow agents based on their profound veins and cultivation realm. A high cultivation realm is impractical when your understanding of profound ways and cultivation arts is low. If one cannot even master profound aspects and manifest incarnation, one wouldn't be able to climb ranks in the Lost Heaven sect or Shadow Realm. Blue Wind Empire. Ling Wuqiuo called out. Kang Yu kissed Yu Long's forehead and stood up. "I will be back in a minute." "Yeah, don't shock them too much." Yu Long chuckled and leaned on his seat lazily. Kang Yu smiled slightly and jumped down with Fen Jueshan and Sikong Du. Their arrival caught everyone's attention as Kang Yu's attractive appearance piqued their interest. Kang Yu modeled an azure-colored dress to fit her slim figure. She also gets her flawless white shoulders and black thigh-high revealed. She styled her black hair in a ponytail, looking heroic and beautiful. That's the Blue Wind Princess. I heard a rumor that she would attend the Blue Wind ranking tournament as one of the contestants, but seeing her in person is definitely different than the rumor. Someone said with great interest. Upon knowing Kang Yu's identity, the youths clamored because Her Highness Blue Wind Empire Princess is widely rumored to have a high cultivation base. "You two go first," Kang Yu ordered. Fen Jueshan walked forward and placed his hand on the altar. Blue Wind Empire, Fen Jueshan. 17 years old, 3rd realm of the Earth Profound Realm. Everyone gasped upon seeing the profound testing pillar showcase Fen Jueshan's information. He was comparable to the Heavenly Sword Villa's first young master, Ling Yun. However, Ling Yun is 3 years older than Fen Jueshan. "Go for it," Fen Jueshan said to Sikong Du and then sighed in relief. His self-torture in the past 13 days paid off. Sikong Du nervously walked to the altar and placed his hand, feeling slight warmth. Blue Wind Empire, Sikong Du. 20 years old, 2nd realm of the Earth Profound Realm. Looking at Sikong Du's result, everyone is still surprised but not as surprised when Fen Jueshan shows his result. "Princess, please." Ling Wuqiuo politely invited Kang Yu. Since the princess has such an intimate relationship with Yu Long, she shouldn't be an ordinary girl. That's what Ling Wuqiuo thought. Kang Yu covered her mouth and giggled, "Don't be nervous, elder. I won't do anything rash." She placed her hand on the altar and injected her profound energy into it, causing several arrays in the profound testing tower to light up. A bright azure light burst out, shocking everyone. Soon, a series of letters appeared. Blue Wind Empire, Kang Yu. 18 years old, 10th level of Emperor Profound Realm. Ling Wuqiuo and basically everyone stared at the floating letters with a gobsmacked look. "What do you mean you won't do anything rash? It's abnormal." 18 years old. Peak Emperor Profound Realm. Kang Yu winked at Yu Long, indicating she held back a lot. If she used her true power, the profound testing tower would explode. After that, Kang Yu and 2 others returned to their seats. "What a show-off!" Xia Qingyu commented on Kang Yu's playful trick with a chuckle. "I might try it as well. The tournament would end with a fight between us anyway." Kang Yu rolled her eyes. "Sure, go ahead." Xia Qingyu put on an anticipating expression as she waited for the Lost Heaven sect's turn. The Frozen Cloud Asgard's turn was next. The 3 female disciples are as beautiful as a fairy, and upon displaying their talents, they become more famous. Although not as shocking as Kang Yu, they guaranteed to enter the top 10 with their cultivation base alone and placed pressure on everyone else. It is the privilege of having a sugar daddy like Yu Long. Ling Wuqiu called everyone but one last sect on the list. He coughed and said, Lost Heaven sect. It's my turn. Xia Qingyu flashed to the arena instantly. Her domineering and cold aura stunned the audience as she placed her hand on the altar. Lost Heaven sect, Xia Qingyu. 16 years old, 10th level of Emperor Profound Realm. However, Xia Qingyu didn't end her presentation there as her profound energy possessed a vibration effect due to her ocean quake symbols. The profound testing tower trembled rapidly and suddenly cracked open, leaving the people, whether disciples, elders, or the Villa Master, of Heavenly Sword Villa speechless. Ling Wuqiu dumbly stared at the expensive artifact of Heavenly Sword Villa, which now cracked open like split wood. Xia Qingyu innocently pulled her hand back and glanced at Ling Wuqiu. Elder, it seems the profound testing tower is not maintained very well. What should I do? Should I compensate for the Heavenly Sword Villa's loss? No need. Before Ling Wuqiu could reply, the Villa Master, Ling Yuefan, responded to Xia Qingyu's question. Ling Yuefan sat on his throne and continued, Young Lady Xia, it seems the profound testing tower is poorly maintained, as you said. Let's put this matter aside first because we have a long tournament after this. Xia Qingyu blinked in surprise at Ling Yuefan's response, okay. Ling Yuefan watched Xia Qingyu's back silently and flicked his sleeve skillfully, continue. Humph. Xian Yuan Yufeng sat beside Ling Yuefan and snorted because this husband of hers didn't want to show Heavenly Sword Villa's flawed side to others. Even some people noticed Ling Yuefan's misdirection on this matter. Unfortunately, Heavenly Sword Villa is weak compared to the Lost Heaven sect, which was widely recognized as the fifth holy land. Xian Yuan Yufeng moved her gaze to Xia Qingyu's seat and caught a handsome, golden-eyed young man in a loose black coat sitting frivolously. So that's the Lost Heaven sect's young leader. I have to admit he's a very handsome fellow. Xian Yuan Yufeng thought to herself. Cough. Cough. Ling Wuqiu cleared his throat and announced, okay, let's continue to the first round of the Blue Wind ranking tournament. The arena suddenly transformed, separating itself into 4 equal pieces. Ling Wuqiu activated another array, and wooden plagues with the zone's division contestant's number flew out. The wooden plaque landed on the contestant's hand, which would light up when the fight between the two talents started. Zone A. Kang Yu showed her wooden plaque to Yu Long. Mine is B. Xia Qingyu curved her lips. C. Fen Jueshan said calmly. D. Sikong Du fidgeted with his wooden plaque. Yu Long laughed, well, good luck to all of you. Chapter 125, The Preliminary and Meeting the Demon King. In the far back seat, Lily and other maids watched the fight between inexperienced youths in great amusement. Lily noticed a familiar-looking elder on the Heavenly Sword Villa's side and called Yu Long. PSST, young master. That guy is Ling Kun. Lily implied while pointing at the humble-looking elder in a blue robe. Yu Long followed Lily's finger and commented, he looks like a shady guy. Right? Anyway, he wanted to meet me again later. Lily giggled. Do you want me to pass a word or two to him? After Kang Yu and Xia Qingyu's shocking show of talent, Ling Kun couldn't miss his chance to ask about their information from Lily. Yu Long thought about it for a brief moment and whispered something to Lily's ears, causing the money-loving maid's eyes to light up wickedly. I will do as you said. Lily stepped back and stared at Ling Kun as if he was a fat cash cow. Arena C, number 13 vs No 22. Ling Wuqiu suddenly announced. Fen Jueshan gave Kang Yu a nod before jumping to the Arena C and facing his opponent. His opponent is a 20-year-old man from a second-rate sect called Beast Gouging Gate, wearing this green-red tribal outfit. He's also at the peak of Spirit Profound Realm, putting up some fight against Fen Jueshan for a few seconds and then fainting upon receiving one punch on the chin. It was a lackluster fight. One thing is for sure, though. The representatives of the Burning Heaven clan weren't happy with Fen Jueshan's good performance. Fortunately for Fen Jueshan, his shocked clan member couldn't touch him because he was part of the Blue Wind Imperial family's team. As long as he stayed close to Kang Yu and others, the Burning Heaven clan better forget about their scheme. It seems your situation is worse than I thought. Yu Long commented upon Fen Jueshan's return to his seat. Fen Jueshan awkwardly stared at Yu Long and responded calmly, my older brother is a piece of shit. Knowing me to grow stronger probably makes him panic. But I'm not interested in the position of clan leader. My goal is to become stronger and stronger. Is that so? Yu Long got what Fen Jueshan implies in her replies. However, if Fen Jueshan wanted to join the Lost Heaven sect, he must show more of his worth than this. Fen Jueshan rubbed his cheek and moved his gaze to the arena. He was thinking about how to join the Lost Heaven sect like what Yu Long expected, but he didn't know how. I could have asked the princess for some advice, but it's not like we are close. Fen Jueshan doesn't like to suck people up, but his current situation is different. What he currently needs is a strong backer. The Blue Wind ranking tournament continued naturally. Yu Long and his companions were bored, so they played a card game while waiting for someone to get called. Uno. Kang Yu announced upon placing her last second card on the table. Everyone stared at her last card, thinking what color it was. It's red. Kang Yu guessed as she was prohibited from using her clairvoyance. No, it must be yellow. Lily squinted her eyes at Kang Yu. Hong Guan stared at the 20 cards in her hand and mumbled, how annoying. Yu Long gave Hong Guan a pitiful look as the aloof-looking maid had been hit by +4 cards every turn. He yawned and placed his cards down, hiding them from the ladies. He glanced at Chu Yueshan and Chu Yueli, finding them meditating on the corner solemnly. The sun had reached its peak high, but the atmosphere was cold enough due to their chilling presence. Yu Long doesn't want to say this as it doesn't sound like a compliment, but Frozen World Arts and Chronicle of Frozen Worlds are no different than air conditioners now. Arena B, number 69 vs No 09. Kang Yu, it's your turn. Yu Long notified her. Kang Yu nodded and swiftly landed on the stage. She didn't even look at her opponent as Ling Wuqiu started the match, and she sent out a miniature ocean quake symbol. Boom! Kang Yu's opponent couldn't even give up because the ocean quake symbol blew him off the stage instantly. The corner of Ling Wuqiu's mouth twitched continuously. It was unfair for a Peak Emperor Profound Realm expert like Kang Yu to fight in the Blue Wind ranking tournament, yet he couldn't do anything about it. They should have forwarded Kang Yu and Kang Yu to the final immediately. It's just a waste of time at this point. However, no matter how much Ling Wuqiu communicated with the Villa Master, Ling Yuefan, he continued the preliminary round. Ling Wuqiu sighed inwardly and stared at Yu Long with a confused look on his aged face. He couldn't understand Yu Long's intention to attend the Blue Wind ranking tournament. A young man of his power shouldn't be interested in the fights of the weak. Unless something big caught his interest. Ling Wuqiu thought to himself. Only Heaven Basin Secret Realm has such a charm for someone like Yu Long. As if it was something to be proud of, Ling Wuqiu smiled when he realized Yu Long's intention to visit the Heavenly Sword Villa. Ling Wuqiu doesn't know that Yu Long targeted more than that. Although Yu Long currently looks like he is playing around, he has sent some of his kaiju to do some reconnaissance. He has already mapped the array formation of Heavenly Sword Villa and discovered some loopholes here and there. The Blue Wind ranking tournament resumed again. After the sun went down, only 300 remained. The elimination was somewhat brutal, but now the youths knew how steep and limited their views on the outside world were. There is a sky above the sky. Yu Long stretched his body slightly and glanced at Kang Yu and Kang Yu, who dominated the preliminary. He was proud of them. Let's go back. I'm hungry. He said with a smile. Kang Yu and Kang Yu smiled back as they nodded in agreement. As Yu Long and his companions left the arena, Ling Wuqiu awkwardly wanted to call them but decided not to. The Heavenly Sword Villa's elder felt rude if he called Yu Long out of nowhere. A young man in a white robe approached Ling Wuqiu and asked, Elder Wuqiu, do you know the Lost Heaven sect's young leader personally? Ling Wuqiu chuckled at the young man's curious question and replied bitterly, no. We only met each other 4 years ago when the Lost Heaven sect announced its appearance to the world. At the time, he was only 12 and at the peak of the Earth Profound Realm. Wow, so strong. The young man in white reacted in disbelief. Ling Wuqiu patted the young man's shoulder and commented, you and your brother's talents aren't bad. You might not be able to catch the Lost Heaven sect's young leader's attention, but you will reach a higher realm than me. Ling Ji understood. The young man in white nodded rapidly. He clenched his hand and vowed to show the world the might of the Heavenly Sword Villa. In the middle of the night, Yu Long visited the waterfall at the back of the courtyard. He cultivated Art of Ghost for a bit before using the Heavenly Sword Villa's array formation for his benefit. He disappeared like a ghost and walked casually on the street. Weirdly, no one noticed him as if he was a real ghost. After a minute's walk, Yu Long arrived at the Sword Management Terrace. The Sword Management Terrace is an essential area within Heavenly Sword Villa and is precisely at the upper center of the Heavenly Sword Mountain region. It is several times larger than the ranking tournament's Sword Discourse Arena. There are tens of thousands of swords flying in the sky above the terrace. Various kinds of swords also stabbed the surface of the terrace, which was inherently filled with sharp sword energy. An enormous pitch-black sword at the center of the terrace was halfway into the ground. It serves as the centerpiece of the Heaven's Might Soul Suppression Formation. Oh, yet. Heaven's Might Soul Suppression Formation was purposely used to suppress a powerful demon, or so everyone thought. The demon in question actually looks and acts no different than a human. The reason these people are called demons or viewed negatively is none other than propaganda. The Heavenly Sword Villa, or the Four Great Sacred Grounds, wanted to be fed to the next generations. Yu Long stared at the enormous pitch-black sword and smiled. Let's meet the man called the Demon King, shall we?
Thanks for listening.